The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
Guys, Dylan fucks.
What?
Woo! Yeah! Dylan Fox, can we get claps in the chat, please?
Like, constantly, all the time. I was like, Dylan,
It's
can
kind
you
of
come
disgusting.
join the podcast today? And he was just like, I can't, bro, I'm fucking bitches. And I was just like, Dylan,
Yeah.
just take a break for a minute, dude. You're gonna
Listen,
give yourself a UTI.
I'll rest when I'm dead.
And Dylan makes it apparent to call women bitches, just to put that out there.
That is not true.
Like, I met up with him at PAX East, and he had
Everyone should respect women.
No, I saw him at PAX East, and he had this lady with him that he was refusing to call his girlfriend, but she was on a leash, and he would constantly refer to her as bitch.
Fuck?
It was like, honestly, I found it quite problematic, to be honest.
About?
It was like,
so...
get over here, bitch! I want to see that Nintendo 64
oh my God,
display.
what are you talking about? Welcome everybody to Sunset City, the Sonic podcast for the motherfuckers. Apparently.
for the fucking and gooning age.
Well, Dylan, since you've got this far, you might as well finish it, which is exactly what she said. Dylan, finish the thing.
Yeah, so we also we are a Sonic podcast most of the time, and today we have some terms and conditions where if you leave a
hang
super
on, you
chat
haven't
for us-
introduced everybody.
Oh, I'm switching it up.
No. How will they know who we are if you don't introduce
Getting
us?
more important who we are. It's more important, right?
It matters.
Alright, I'm Garrulous64, and I'm stressed out today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm about to travel for too many games, and I still have a lot to do before I leave, and now I'm on the podcast. So, here I am. I'm also here, as always, with my friend, Channel Pup.
Finally admits that I'm his friend after all these years.
We also have, this nice Sonic Boom plushie.
Hmm.
And we have Trey Nobles. Mr.
Hello,
Trey.
everyone. Hello. How you doing,
Forgot what
everybody?
his name was, didn't you? That's why you spent so much time on the Boom plush, was you were trying to
No, I
recollect
didn't. I was
Trey's
letting the
name.
Boom plush
It was.
talk.
It,
I was giving the Boom plush time as if he were Frank to speak.
I don't want you to go
It's
to
called
too many
acting.
games.
Anyway,
I don't think you should go.
you don't think I gotta go? Well, I already paid money. So
I
I'm going, but anyway.
I always see so many of my friends having such a good time, and I always feel so
Yeah.
isolated.
yeah, and they're not allowed to because I'm not there.
I had the audacity to be born on a different landmass, so it's just ugh.
Skill issue.
Shut the fuck up, Dylan. God,
So,
not all of us can fuck bitches every day. At all
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Well, we got some terms and conditions for the stream. If you leave us a super chat, we're gonna read it at the end of the stream. But thank you very much. We see them all. We see the support. Thank you already for the support, by the way. Very generous today. Appreciated. And if you want to join our Patreon, you get access to our Discord server, and you also support us. That's about it.
Yeah.
And Dylan,
Uh-huh.
do you know how many... can you just say hello to the number of people who are watching on Twitch?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
I can do that.
how many people are watching on Twitch then?
There are 3 people on Twitch right now.
It says
Woo!
2 on
Yeah, let's go.
But, okay, I was kind of setting you up. I was kind of like, man, okay, fair enough. There's 3, including yourself, probably.
No,
Okay.
I actually guessed. I didn't even open the page.
Oh, there's 2. Well, okay. Alright, so, we've got I think today's episode is probably going to be a slightly quicker one, because stupid Dylan here has other priorities.
I don't need to leave till 7:30, but I would appreciate it being a little shorter than normal, or at least like I'll stick around for a while. Then you guys can keep going if you want.
Trey, don't you wish Dylan was a good friend?
I think he is. I don't have to wish
Aw.
because it's just the truth.
Thanks, Trey.
You're welcome,
Alright,
dude.
I'm leaving. I can't handle
The
this.
Sonic and Friends podcast, where we are friends on the
Where we
podcast.
are-
Or it could be that we are friends with Sonic, but not with each other.
I don't
Hence
wanna
why
be
Boom
friends with
Sonic
Sonic.
is there.
yeah.
I'd be
Right, so
friends
we
with
got a
Boom
riff.
Sonic. I think.
We got
I'd be friends
I
with Boom
bet
Sonic.
me and Boom Sonic would be. We would be able to vibe. I
feel like
feel.
we
Okay, so there's
understands me.
definitely there are definitely more than 2 people on Twitch, so OBS is lying to me. But I'm seeing the Twitch
Oh,
homies
are you looking
are
at the restream counter?
Yes.
The restream counter is very slow.
Alright, because I was about to say, I'm noticing like lots and lots and lots of people popping up, saying hello over on Twitch, making themselves known.
Nice. Well, hello everybody.
I say lots and lots like there's more than like 5, but still. They're here, they're representing, it's good to see them with their little purple icons. Hell yeah. Alright, so, okay. We got a show. Alright.
Yeah. What do we got today, Pup? What do we got?
Well, we got some fresh news. Just like this is literally fresh off of the grill. You guys ever heard of the YouTube channel Shaq News?
Like Shaquille O'Neal news?
No, not that kind of Shaq.
I didn't know I don't know if he had a YouTube channel. That's great.
It's not
He
that
could.
Shaq. It's
okay.
Shaq
Right.
as in like, you know, a place where you'd hang out. Well, anyways,
where you put like a tool, like a hammer or something.
their logo is literally a little house. Well, anyways, Shaq News is a news outlet, go figure. And like they were very prevalent during like the Sonic Frontiers time, and they're still prevalent today. And they did an interview with Takashi Iizuka for Sonic X Shadow Generations, and you know it had the general stuff. But there was a point where Iizuka was like, "Yeah, we've got the Sonic Adventure skin in there and stuff," which prompted Shaq News to ask, "Okay, given that you've responded to fan requests with Sonic X Shadow Generations, what's the possibility of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 getting remastered? Or at least, just any of the Sonic Adventure games." And Iizuka was kind of excited by the idea because he was like, obviously those 2 games are very near and dear to my heart. I mean, like, I remember before Frontiers came out, when Iizuka was asked what is your favorite of the Sonic games, he did say Adventure 2. So he loves the Adventure games just as much as we all do, us smart people anyways. But he said he would love to revisit the Adventure games and do a remaster of them, but because they are made with such old software and such old programming and such, he said it would be a much bigger undertaking than something like, say, Sonic Generations or Sonic Colors. It's the age of these things.
Yeah.
Things are not really made like that anymore, so to remaster those would require a lot more work. And so it's one of those things where he's like, yeah, I'd love to do it, but it would take a while. And he was quite transparent that, like, Sonic X Shadow Generations is effectively kind of a filler thing, in that it's like, he wants to have releases every year, but it's like, while they work on that next big game, here's something to keep us occupied this year in the form of Sonic X Shadow Generations. And it would kind of defeat the object of that kind of release if they were to spend a huge amount of development time on a Sonic Adventure remake. Now, that's not actually his words, that's just kind of what I've extrapolated from them, but you can just look up Shaq News Takeshi Iizuka interview.
I just
sorry,
had a
go
thought.
on,
I just had a little brain tingle, and this might not be like the perfect answer to things, especially since we've seen what happens with Sonic games when they're handed to other studios sometimes. And funny enough, with this other series I'm about to mention, but they could kind of try and take the Pokemon approach, sort of. I don't think they should do yearly release. I think that's a bit too frequent because I think it's going to start getting lazy if they do.
I think that is 100% what they
do...
want to do, though, is like yearly releases. So it could be like between Frontiers is you get like a Dream Team, you get
if they
Superstars.
do, like, I hope they're like really smaller projects, like a really short, like do like a small 2D game that's like low price. Do like another Dream
like
Team type deal.
Shadow Generations is a short little thing. Like that's just a quick...
but like I was gonna say, they should try to take like some inspiration from Pokemon, and they should be like, hey, Sonic Team, we work on all this like big important shit for the big major releases. And they should just have, like, other studios make, like, little remakes here and there, or make little extra games, so they can have that yearly release. They should just some other studio make an adventure remake, if they don't want to do it right now.
The thing is, they'd need, like, a budget for it, so it would be probably a bigger budget project than what Sonic X Shadow Generations ends up being. But, I would love to see them work with get Hardlight on an adventure remake. I think Some Call Me Johnny even mentioned that in his Dream Team
I think that'd be a great idea.
Is like, Hardlight could probably be trusted. They clearly have a great understanding of what makes Sonic gameplay work as well as it does. I would love to see them get in contact with Toys for Bob to do the adventure games.
I can see what they would like to do, because they're good at taking something that used to work, like taking the classics and updating them in a way that still feels like the classics, but also feels very modern.
Yeah. Provided that, I mean, the
Crash,
thing,
Spyro, CTR.
Sorry,
they didn't make Crash. They made Spyro and CTR.
The thing with Toys for Bob is they did sometimes miss the vibe a little bit on Spyro Reignited, I'd say, and I'm not just talking about the Zephyr Juliet. I'm talking about some of the aesthetics, but the Zephyr Juliet
They didn't have enough time. They didn't have enough time to finish the game. I blame Activision for that.
What are you talking about? They made brand new voice lines for Juliet in Zephyr.
That's not what I'm talking about, Pop. I'm talking about the game as a whole is a little bit of a mess. Because, like Spyro 1 is basically flawless. They have spent the most time on that. It's got so much shit in it. 2 is a little bit... Shut up, stop. Spyro 2 is really good. It's a really good game, but it starts to show a little bit of cracks in the Reignited trilogy because they're starting to run out of time. In Spyro 3, it's, pathetic. It's so glitchy and buggy all over the place. There's a level you can't beat unless you turn the frame rate back down to 30.
Really?
It's so fucked up on PC.
All right, here's the thing.
It's upsetting, because these games are probably not going to be remade again for a very, very, very long time. And, it just sucks that they didn't get a chance to go and fix those issues. Activision was like, fuck it, make Crash Team Racing.
Dylan, Zephyr Juliet, alright? The time... The time and budget invested into making Zephyr Juliet sound like an actual woman, when they could have just left that alone and it would have made the game a 10 out of 10. Because okay, here's the thing: Zephyr Juliet, the original Zephyr Juliet. Okay, right. So Spyro.
You're ridiculous. Pup watches on the most asinine things in a given project, and he will talk about that every time it's brought up.
Just hear me for a second. Is in those original Insomniac versions of the Spyro trilogy, they would get janitors and shit in to voice the NPC characters, and because they were these stupid little polygonal looking fuckers, they would not take the job seriously, and that contributes to the art. That's what makes that as good as it is, okay? Now, another reason why Zephyr Juliet spoke the way that she did is because back in the days of William Shakespeare, they would have men play the women roles. It was a reference to how men would play women back in the age of William and the Shaky Wakey. So, to replace Juliet, her voice of the Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Oh, there's Romeo! You could have this! I don't need it anymore! To replace that with an actual woman is... You don't get it. You don't get it. I'm not talking about no fucking progressivism nonsense or any shit like that. I'm saying, not only is it bad...
You sound insane. You sound like...
No, is it bad?
Crazy person.
They've taken away so much of the appeal. It would be like if you took Napoleon Dynamite. You know Napoleon Dynamite. It'd be like if you took Napoleon Dynamite, we're gonna film that on Arri Alexas with great lighting, and it's that movie works because it doesn't have amazing cameras and amazing lighting. It looks like a slice of life in fucking rural fucking Idaho farmland, alright? And they wouldn't be able to get access to fucking Arri Alexas in fucking rural fucking farmland town, alright? It's partly why the cartoon didn't work. You ever see the cartoon of Napoleon Dynamite? Suddenly they're giving Napoleon superpowers and they've got a Liger invasion. You've missed the point completely. That is what fucking Zephyr Juliet has suffered in Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Just because you can make something more high quality doesn't mean you should. And that actually brings me back to the Sonic Adventure remakes.
Oh shit, the Sonic podcast for the classic and modern age.
No, because I said, when I was doing my stream of Sonic Adventure, you were there, Dylan, and we had Stupid Tom Topics with us as well, I think, and Webster. I was saying how a Sonic Adventure 1 remake, anyway, is kind of a lose-lose situation. Because if you fix up the animation, you will lose a lot of the charm of the original. A lot of that charm is in those stupid, goofy animations. But if you don't fix them, I'm gonna wonder why you didn't fix them. Now, I think the truth is, yeah, what we would need more than a remaster would be a remake, probably. But I would absolutely say make that crunchiness, make that low-quality goodness part of the art style. So it's like things like, Sonic running in place before leaving to go find Amy again after falling into the sand. Keep that in there, but just make it look a bit more deliberate. Like, take these animation quirks and find ways to make them look completely intentional. And I think they can do that. I think that is a way of keeping that goofiness in there. With Sonic Adventure 2, there's less of that goofiness anyway, so I think Adventure 2 is probably easier to do a remake of while maintaining what makes it great. Because when I think about what makes Adventure 2 great, it's not the charm. It's just how fucking balls to the walls this thing is. Just how epic. It's so freaking epic, bro. Like, you understand what I'm saying is so... It turns out that there's actually a mod right now for Sonic Adventure 1 which puts an RTX on it. So it gives it like sort of modern lighting, but all the models stay the same, all the textures stay the same, it's just the lighting engine is a modern one. And it's like, that actually is just kind of what I want. That's kind of all I need,
Yeah, I don't want it to play that much different, because one of the reasons I love the game so much is because it plays like it does.
Yeah, there's certainly some things you could iron out a little, but that's it, just a little bit of ironing out.
Add the drop dash. Why not?
Why would you need that?
Because I like it.
No, shut the
I'd say the
fuck
drop
up.
dash is kind of not really that useful, at least in SA1, because you can spam the spin dash, and I do want the spin dash to still be spammable.
But Trey,
yes,
I
what?
like the drop dash.
Maybe like as an
drop
option.
dash too, but Dylan, remember when I was all like, bro, imagine if Dream Team had the spin dash, and you were like, fuck the spin dash ain't shit, Dream Team's perfect, and I was like, yeah, but like, spin dash fun though.
Well, yeah.
I think this it comes to like with remakes or remasters. It's I think preservation is kind of a key part of I guess like the overall like process, because it's like you could do like a Final Fantasy VII thing where you just like pretty much do your own thing.
You completely remake and reform it.
Yeah, like almost like you could do that, but at the same time, like I feel like it's a little bit different for something like an RPG, because I feel like a lot of the charm for Final Fantasy VII came from like the characters in the story, and from what I can understand, those are still what is it like? They're still preserved, at least mostly, in the remake, unless I'm like completely mistaken, right? But I have no idea. But with Sonic Adventure, like the gameplay aspect is such a core aspect of it, you really can't get that wrong. At least not wrong to a very noticeable degree. I'm not saying that the physics have to be 1-to-1, but it at least has to feel the same, in my opinion. Like that's part of the.
If it feels like the same, or it's just a bit more polished or a little more tightened up, then we're gravy, baby. But don't do things like, we're gonna change the spin dash to the Frontiers version, because for the love of God, don't do that.
No. Like the Frontiers version is broken, and I love it because of that. But putting that into the context of SA1, it would tear the game apart. Like, no,
I just wish
good.
the Frontiers one didn't have acceleration to it. That's the only thing I would say. About
I agree.
Because like that's the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're moving uphill or downhill. There's just no influence on it. It's just it goes mega fast, and it's like it sustains until the boost gauge runs out. Whereas
have you played any of the mods that change it to be more like the classic version?
I've piddled.
I don't have it on PC, so I don't know.
I've piddled, but I did one that like converted I think it was by Luke Station that converted the game to more kind of adventure controls.
Oh yeah, that I enjoyed really good.
I enjoyed that as a demonstration, but it did kind of break the experience of like the combat in Frontiers. It's really more intended for cyberspace, that I think. Just because like the controls
cyberspace and traversal. But it was very nice. It's a very fun mod to play with.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately I didn't play with it for very long simply because of that combat element. But again, like as a demonstration of what like a modern adventure thing could feel like, very good work by Luke Station. I mean, I'll say this, there's some stuff that I'm seeing in like Shadow Generations that looks kind of promising. Like I like the fact that because they're clearly using the Frontiers kind of cyberspace engine from what everyone's saying. But I've noticed that, like,
Yeah.
Shadow doesn't just gentle jog unless he's boosting. He still moves fast even when not boosting, and that's something I've kind of been hoping to see a bit more of. Like, there was a physics tweak that I was playing around with back before Update 2 came out, and it made it... I can't remember who made this. I wish I did. I would totally, like, credit them right now, but it made it so that, like, it took off the speed cap when running without the boost. So it wouldn't just, get to a certain speed and then stop building speed. It would just keep on moving until you're basically in boost speed without boosting. And it's like, I think Sonic needs to tap into that again. But that's beside the point. Going kind of back to Adventure, I noticed someone in the chat mentioned, like, what about Big? That's the real obstacle here, is like, what do you do about Big the cat? I would say Big the cat is honestly a little easier than anyone else, to be honest. Like, Big... I think there's a lot of great stuff to Big, but I think the general fishing mechanic just needs better conveyance, but also you could kind of incorporate elements from the Frontiers fishing in a way, because no one's really going to be spending that much time on the intricacies of Big's fishing. But also
it's also not a very long story either. So
I was going to say that, yeah. Like,
the other thing I would say is make that the optional story. Like, because here's the thing is, I actually like all of the stories in Sonic Adventure. A lot of people are like, I hate Amy's story, or I don't really like Gamma. I like all of that stuff. I think all of the main stories are good except for Big. So it's like, just make Big optional, fix up Big a little bit, and then I think you're onto a winner.
I think, let's say it's not like a remaster and you're remaking it in terms of experience. I think since people don't really hold Big's gameplay to such a high regard, that is where they can change things up.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it could be
got a lot of
like
wiggle room.
Like that, you have more wiggle room there. It's because I'm going to be honest, I still want Gamma to feel the same. I still want every other character to feel the same. Every other character played great. Big, I just didn't really care for.
I would say give Gamma more attacks. Like, make it so that he can shoot the pew-pew without locking onto things as well. Which is kind of what they did with, like, Tails and Eggman.
More levels in general.
Honestly, like, I think Big should be, like, reserved for, like, 100% completion. Maybe if you, like, beat the story, you can get, like, an extra stage or something.
I don't know. I don't want it to be a reward.
Yeah, I don't
think
like the idea
like
of...
a thing you can do. Like the
challenge. No. Not Big being
the reward.
Just Big, not Big being the reward, but let's say the what is it, like the extra emblems in SA1DX or something like that. Like, reserve Big to missions like that. And then
what's the 100% reward? What do you get?
Well, okay. How do you?
This
I guess you could remove him from the story technically if you wanted to make him, like optional. But I think
I wouldn't say. I don't know.
Be mad about that.
I think you can make sense of Big's presence without actually playing Big's story.
Like, he doesn't really do anything. He just has Froggy. Froggy just exists.
And Froggy just stole his tail, and that's the only connection there.
Yeah, so, like, we don't need...
Like, in terms of story connection. So don't really...
You could just see it happening. I guess you could just...
Yeah, it could just be conveyed through, like, cutscenes and stuff like that, Like...
People make okay, so here's a weird example. But, in Kingdom Hearts, like, they have remade a lot of the games, right? But some of the games, they were like, hey, people don't like this one as much, so we're not going to remake it. We're just going to make a movie of the cutscenes to sort of, like, make it more pretty.
Right,
Do you think... Like, I feel like some people kind of get burned on that, because some people might really enjoy the thing that they're not willing to remake. I wonder. I don't know. It feels like they put a lot into the fishing gameplay. Like, there's a lot there. Like, with catching fish and your power-ups do different things. And it's interesting they put so much into it when it doesn't really amount to much in the game. Like, it's weird.
I think it'll be... Like, I think the gameplay mechanic can still be there. It just shouldn't be, like, it shouldn't be, like, required for, like, to get to the end story, Yeah. It should be, like, a thing where it's, like, if you want to do it, it's there, but if you don't, then, like, that's fine.
There could be a little, like, thing next to any of the names that are mandatory, and then Big's one could just be off in its own little place, and it's like, hey, play Big's thing to unlock a prize, and maybe, like, the prize you unlock is, like, I don't know, maybe unlock Green Hill Zone or something.
Or not memory tokens. You get, like, logs from Big.
you get
cannon through Big's eyes.
You finally get the lore reason as to how Big can just randomly show up at places.
But why he's
he
so
can lift
big?
Up a car.
Yeah. I mean, he's just strong. I think Big's just really he has that like kind of like
maybe Big could like unlock like a banquet of skins, or oh my god, okay, here's the idea: fish
That's
onesies.
a great idea.
Fish onesies for all of the characters.
Okay, I don't
cool.
want it to be. I don't want it to be just that, but I would like. I think that's a great idea to have it be relegated to cosmetics. I think that's a fucking brilliant idea.
Well,
honestly.
what I'm thinking is, it could be. Okay, maybe like in Big's levels, some of the little fish things that you can get are like little chests with costumes in them, and you can just fish out different costumes. But I like the idea that the reward for completing Big's story is just like a fucking shitpost reward of just these fish onesies for the different Sonic characters. That they
I think
could
you
just
should
run
be able to
around
unlock the Dreamcast models. I think that'd be a fun reward too.
Yeah,
I mean-
Dreamcast models for everybody.
I mean, yeah,
That'd be
in my vision for it, they're in the Dreamcast models anyway. The only real things that have changed are like high-res textures, lighting, and stuff like that. So it's a deliberate...
I was imagining like they remade them, but they're sort of like an HD version of the Dreamcast model. So then you can just do the Dreamcast model like I was thinking
my idea was like it's deliberately crunchy and low poly as like an art style choice. That's my kind of vision for it, because I just think if you stray too far away from that, you're gonna lose what makes Sonic Adventure 1. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. They're not men of culture over at Sega. But like,
oh wait, could you imagine like a real remake, but doing it sort of like Nintendo does with some of their recent remakes? You know how they just make it look perfect. You know,
okay,
like
no, I just thought of it. I just fucking thought of what the rewards could be. Okay, so one reward for fucking stuff, anyways, is Sega Saturn style classic models for everyone, so you can basically play the game like it's beta form. And the 100% completion reward could be the beta version of Windy Valley.
That would be cool, actually.
Idea.
That would be a good idea. Pub comes up with his first great idea, everyone. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Great idea. I'll end you. I have so many good ideas.
That's actually such a great idea, though, because it also mimics the idea of like SA2 having the Green Hill as a secret bonus level for 100%.
Imagine if it's Green Hill again. They moved Green Hill from Sonic Adventure 2 to Sonic Adventure 1, so Sonic Adventure 2's 100% prize is Chemical Plant.
A 3D adventure-style Chemical Plant, though, you wouldn't want to play that?
You're right,
I'd play it.
That sounds cool as hell. Do you ever see that? Someone made a Hilltop mod. It makes Hilltop Zone an adventure, and I love the layout of that level. It's so much fun. It's super cool.
I mean, anyway. Everyone's also saying, like... You'd want Metal Sonic playable as well. I think that... You know what? What about more medals? What about more metal characters? You could
you get metal skins, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you 100% complete, like, Tails' story, you could get, like, a Metal Tails or Tails doll playable. Knuckles could have Metal Knuckles and stuff like that.
Yes.
You could... there's so much, like, you can reach into. Like, the 100 million% prize could be, like, Mecha Sonic Mark II playable or something, like...
We should do an episode where we just pitch a Sonic game like this, and just do like an entire pitch.
That was already done with the old cast, and because that was done with the old cast, there's just no way doing it again with the new cast could ever be good.
I highly doubt it.
Well, speaking of cast, this is another problem that I kind of like, the voice cast for the adventure games.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people are like, I say concerned, but more so in a preservation sense.
There you go.
I can speak. But like they're concerned that like if the voice lines are reread in like Roger Craig Smith's voice or any other voice actor's voice, like Kirk Thornton and stuff like that, that it will lose its kind of like luster, if that makes sense.
So
they need good voice direction. They need to see the original clips, and they need someone in the room going, "Oh no, you need to do it a little more like this."
I have some shit to say.
I'll do it.
So
okay.
I would say, like, continuing in my mentality of, like, Sonic Adventure 1 should remain in a deliberately low-poly art style as just an artistic choice, they should use the old dialogue as well, I would say. Because the thing with Adventure 1, there's a reason why people want to play Adventure 1. Because they want to play Adventure 1. And so much of Adventure 1 is synonymous with Adventure 1. If you get what I'm saying? There's just so much I'm not willing to sacrifice. It's almost like it's almost like I'm not ready, you know? And I get the whole perspective of, okay, but get new audiences on board. I think with, like, some of the indie games I've seen and stuff like that, new audiences could easily accept a low poly art style with these old voice lines and stuff in there. Like, as long as everything looks deliberate, as long as everything looks like a stylistic choice, I think they could make that work. I think that's all they really need to do with Adventure 1 is go back to everything that went a little bit janky and just smooth it out so it looks like a deliberate artistic choice.
So, I feel like Sega would, like, at least get the old voice files and have them, like, uncompressed, because I know the original adventure games, they had to compress the files to fit onto the discs and everything. That's just kind of like what they had to do with audio back in the day. But in terms of art style, I think, like, I like the low poly angle, but I also think if they had it cel shaded to make it look like the graffiti art style of the cover art,
I would love
that. Would be so cool. And it's like, and like, not to pin roses on myself, but I've done a cel shaded look, like, within my first week of learning Blender. Like, it's really not too terribly hard to do.
Same here. And I mean, Sega have done it as well with, like, Persona 5 and stuff. Like,
yeah, Jet Set Radio, all that stuff. But now with, like, you know, being able to, like, bring up the poly count a little bit, make everything look deliberate, having a cel shaded graffiti style art style for the adventure remakes would not only bring new audiences in, but audiences like myself would be like, oh, that's definitely, like, this could be on the Dreamcast too, you know, if that ever existed. Like, this is the kind of game I would want if Sega made another system. I'm not saying that I speak for all adventure fans, but I think, like, I don't think anyone would really object to that idea.
No, I agree. Like, I mean, yeah, if they can make that stuff, like, because I'm trying to take into account what kind of is kind of, like, reasonable to kind of expect, I guess, in some regards. But, like, that's kind of like we're playing a monkey. Yeah. I also say we're not, you know, executive producers or anything here. Like, we can just ask for the things we want, and it's like, yeah, if they did do a cel shaded remake of Adventure 1 and 2 so that it looks kind of like the box art, like, I would love that. And it's funny because there's, like, a cel shaded Monkey Ball game coming out now as well. So, like, you know, Sega clearly sees the merit in this. So if they don't do cel-shaded Sonic, they're missing a trick. But, like, I'm seeing some really fucking bad takes of, like, people in the chat right now saying that, you know, I complain about the series not being modern enough, but want them to age it. But it's like, I think, I don't really mind if they go for an aged art style with things. Like, that's never been my complaint. Of course, I would love to see a AAA high-budget Sonic game and stuff like that. But I would say save that for modern titles, new titles and stuff. With Adventure, personally, I just think there's a lot of charm there, and there's a lot you risk sacrificing if you kind of get rid of that.
If we're talking about remakes, like, then I think, like, tapping into what made those games, like, fun and enjoyable is more important than just making them just, like, as modern and high tech as possible. Like the pushing boundaries aspect of the series should be reserved for newer titles.
Yeah, I agree.
And everything. But I was going to say too, but they also brought back the old Tails voice actress for Colors Ultimate too. So it's not like they're against.
Yeah,
they're not against bringing back voice actors before. It's just like, if they're available and whether or not they agree contract-wise, you know, with things. So
yeah.
So yeah.
No, definitely.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
To answer the question of, like, why do a remake then at all? Like, it would still have differences. There would still be visual differences. It would just be cleaned up a bit. Like, it would still be low poly. But again, like, that's the thing with Adventure 1 in its current state is it's clearly a very old, quite janky game. I'm saying make it all look congruent and cohesive as if that is the art style of the game. So you'd have high fidelity textures, you would have kind of animation transitions between the janky bits that make everything look intentional, basically. So it's hard to really kind of illustrate it, but, like, if you take a look at the RTX Sonic Adventure mod, you can kind of see a little bit of the vision there, but I think, you know, there's further they can obviously take it. But, again, there's room for games in different art styles and stuff. I've always thought Sonic should embrace different art styles, be it cel shading, be it photorealism, be it fucking low poly stuff, be it pixel art. You know, I'm game for all of it. Give me a fucking claymation Aardman animation looking Sonic game, and I'll be there for it, you know? I get tired of the uniform art style because it's clearly something that's designed to just look good on a pencil case, you know? That's where I stand when it comes to Sonic art style.
Yeah.
But,
that is the best place to put pencils.
A pencil case? Yeah, it really is.
Well, like,
I'm tired of not saying it.
Yeah,
also,
the reality is,
I guess
they're probably not going to make an adventure remake for a long time.
I will say though, this is also so I've been learning like game design and game development, you know, more so as a hobby, right? And Chalmix's video on recreating Sonic Adventure's controls within Unity has actually like been a huge help in that aspect, and he does a great job at that.
Yeah. No, I heard. I think
it's a good video. So like I guess the point I'm making is that they don't necessarily have to like rely on old code to like older code to make Sonic feel good in a modern engine or modern setting. They just have to know like what to look for and just make it feel as close as it can.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be like one-to-one.
There's a very accurate recreation of Sonic Adventure physics in Roblox as well. So if they could do it there,
yeah.
That's
like,
the thing, is it shouldn't be rocket science to make this kind of thing. But I mean, furthermore, like speaking of things that aren't rocket science, I think it was Webster that told me that there was like, I think Chalmix did like a live stream or a video at some point where he literally in this thing made a mod code that would make it so that Sonic can no longer walk around loop-de-loops in Sonic Frontiers. And it's just like, again, this stuff should not be rocket science. Like,
it's like the resources have been there for decades, and it's like, you know, like modern engines can do everything that engines of yesteryear could do, in my opinion, right? It's just like implementation.
I mean, if
like,
they can't, then I don't know why we
well,
moved into this.
I remember when
if they can't, then
when Forces
it ain't
came out,
broke.
ahead of Forces' release, Iizuka kind of tried to explain away classic Sonic's physics in Forces by saying you can never truly replicate classic Sonic physics in a 3D space. That was, of course, then, and now here we are with Sonic Superstars. So it's just... There are things that baffle me and confuse me about kind of like how Sonic controls, because, again, it really shouldn't be too difficult. There are things on Sonic Retro that say how to make this work, the formula for Sonic's gameplay. Don't get me wrong, I adore Sonic Frontiers, but the physics of that game are fucking gack. Like...
Especially actual, before, like,
yeah, like even though they've like added things like jump momentum and stuff, it's still gack that you can just walk around a loop-de-loop, walk up a steep incline, and like just stuff like that is just so relentlessly terribly bad. And I was playing some cyberspace stages last night at one point. I was playing the 2D ones, and I just played around with the spin dash a little bit, and how it's like, I'll spin dash and I'll jump, and it's like, as soon as you jump from a spin dash, unless you're holding right, he'll immediately stop all movement. I'm like, that's literally Sonic 4 Episode 1 physics. That is literally the exact same. The reason Frontiers gets away with it... The reason Frontiers gets away with it, of course, is because it didn't call itself Sonic the Hedgehog 4. But, like... it's still like we can improve this. We can definitely do better than this, and I'm hoping they will. It's why I made this whole ass video about like why I was a little concerned about kind of the mentality that I'd seen from I think Kishimoto over on Twitter. That it's like, okay, we got Final Horizon out now. I'm ready now. We're ready for that next game. We're ready to build on top of that. No, you fucking aren't. You've got way more work to do on just the basic movement. Maybe it is. Right. Maybe that's what where we're gonna see it bear fruit. I have no idea. No idea.
We'll see. But like Shadow does look fantastic. I feel like if you're gonna like keep going in this direction, I feel like Shadow Generations is like the best way to like keep going, in my opinion.
Gosh, I have to just say, and this is gonna sound a little cheesy, but I'm really happy to be excited about Sonic again.
I mean, I've been excited about Sonic since fucking Frontiers, but like,
I wish I could have been excited because, like, for Frontiers, I was so ready to be hurt again. You know, I was so ready to just have it be bad. Like when it was actually so good that I was like, oh my goodness.
I had that trepidation up until I think the Nintendo Switch trailer. And I was just like, oh, you know what, fuck it. Just get hyped. You know you want to. You enjoy the feeling of hype. Just get hyped. If you get burned later, you've got this. I liked what I was seeing with that, except how slow it looked. And then the thing that was bothering me, though, is that it didn't matter to me how it looked, how it played. It mattered to me how it felt to play, and I was still worried they weren't going to nail that. You know? Yeah. And to an extent, they didn't really off the get-go. They didn't outright nail it, and I still wouldn't say Update 2 nailed it, but I'd say they got it to a point where it's really a lot of fun to just play around with anyway. And I also don't even really use physics mods anymore, only if it's like something I wanted to test. Like we were talking about Luke Station's mod from earlier. That was just because, like, it's a cool idea. You know, I wanted to check it out, but I wouldn't be like, hey, this is how it should play 100% of the time. You know, I like how Frontiers plays now. I don't even need a physics mod because the spin dash is so much fun to use. One of the control
updates. I think they did a good job.
One of the control updates in Update 2, though, that bummed me out was the walking or running deacceleration. That one really kind of bummed me out, because when I first used it, I was like, oh my god, he no longer stops on a dime, they've perfected it. But then I realized that you still have a slow deacceleration even if you're just at walking speed. So it's not influenced by the speed you're going. You don't, like, lose speed slower based on how fast you're going. It's just, you can take a quick little step and he will just walk a couple of paces. And it's like, well, that sucks. That bummed me out. And it made one of the cyberspace challenges in Update 3 nigh on fucking impossible as well. It's clearly not designed around a low deacceleration rate. But anyways, yeah, it's beside the point. I suppose we should probably get back to the topics of today.
Right, yeah.
Well, we've been pretty on topic so far. I mean, we've still been talking Sonic, so it's not too bad.
That we have. It's just we got a little more to get through. We don't have a huge amount of time. But, okay, so, Dylan, you have a PowerPoint for us today, do you?
No, I don't. I told you that.
No, you fucking don't, do you?
I don't. Dude, this is amazing. He asked me if I had one before we started, just so he could do this to me when we were on the podcast, so he could berate me in front of you. This motherfucker.
Just fucking atrocious, frankly. So can we get some booze in the chat for Dylan?
You get some booze.
They love me. They know that I'm busy. They know that I'm stressed out.
Do you just assume that they love you?
They do, because I remember every time that you're mean to me, they're like, "We love Dylan."
Dylan. They don't love
I've watched
you.
The chat. Remember
what I told you when we were playing Ring Races with Salty?
No, I don't remember.
Everyone that ever said anything nice to you was lying to preserve your feelings.
Oh, I forgot about that. You're right.
It's so evil. It's so unnecessarily evil.
Yeah, I think that was the closest I've come to being like, wow, that's like one of the worst things I've ever heard. Like, that's so horrible.
In my
realizing
defense,
I'm in an abusive relationship live on stream.
In my defense, Your Honor, the capacity for evil lives within us all.
Yeah, but especially in Channel Pop for some reason.
Especially.
He's got, like, he said the amount of times he said recently alone, like, could you imagine if I was serious about the things I was saying? I would just actually be an awful person.
But that's what makes me so good, is I would clearly be very good at being evil, but I choose the path of righteousness.
You choose to be good, yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes me so great.
That sounded like a threat to me when he said that. I was like, he's threatening us with his, like, potential maliciousness.
All it would take is like a flip of a switch. Like, just, I gotta stub my toe one day and then that's just it. Like, I start meaning these things.
It only takes one bad day for a good man to go bad.
I'm not gonna do the Joker thing. Joker's played out.
You literally just said that you literally are the Joker. You just said that, basically.
I did not say I'm literally the... No, because here's the thing. As soon as someone claims they're the Joker, they lose their credibility now. I don't know why. Something about the Joker has just changed in the past decade. I am...
He's a meme now.
I am the Riddler. That'll do it. I think the Riddler is really cool. Especially in the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the Penguin series coming quite soon, and we've also got... there was a trailer for Batman the Caped Crusader, which is a new animated series from Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, I think Paul Dini's involved, and J.J. Abrams, so that's really exciting. Looks to be kind of a spiritual successor to Batman the Animated Series, so that's really cool.
Oh, yeah, that is nice.
That's cool.
I'm happy for Batman fans.
Wait, do you not like Batman, Dylan?
No, I do like Batman. I don't peruse very much Batman media usually. Like I'll see
I
some
thought
stuff
you
here and there.
like comic booky things as well, right? You like superheroes.
No, I do. I haven't read
You don't
too
like
much
Batman. You hate Batman?
Oh, we're doing this. We're doing this bit where Pup just keeps talking. He keeps saying the opposite of what I'm saying.
Have you played the Arkham series?
I have not yet.
Come on, Dylan.
I know. How far are you in Persona 5?
I got past the second dungeon. I got as far as I got last time we played together. I like having you in the front seat with me.
Okay, so tell me more. Tell me when you're gonna play the game.
Okay, I will. It's also just been a very busy time.
No, I agree. I'm also very busy. I've been saying this all day.
No, you're not. You have fuck all to do.
You've
got nothing
am
going
so
on.
distracted. I can't edit during the podcast because I'm going to turn into a quiet, like, Carlson. I can't do that.
A quiet Carlson. You have nothing going on in your life. You have as much going on in your life as you do in your head. You fucking stupid bitch.
Oh my gosh. Dude, this is why people keep DMing me and asking me if you abuse me.
Whoa! How many DMs do you get?
I've received 2 DMs on separate occasions from 2 people asking if Pup is like a cruel and awful bastard.
But the question is, why would you be here? Like, what kind of arrangement would we have going on that would justify that?
Exactly. No, I'm just waiting for Pup to realize he doesn't have to be a cruel and unusual bastard.
Well, what would I do?
Conversation.
What would I have?
I know. You can find yourself. You can find a new form of humor.
You like this one.
I'm gonna change him. I can change him.
No, I'm the one who changes people. I changed
You're
Wayne.
not gonna change.
Remember when Wayne used to be a sweet little man and he got corrupted? And remember,
No, I hardly know Wayne.
Dylan is not as sweet as he used to be. I'm telling the audience this.
Listen,
Dylan, remember the time he threatened me with violence on the podcast?
Listen, I'm adapting. When I am put in an environment, a new environment, I have to adapt like a fish, like a sea creature. You know, like I'm adapting to Channel Pup.
Look, I'm great. Dylan had a shitty sandwich at Subway. Everyone laugh.
Channel Pup is my good friend. He is my good friend, and we all kid.
I'm glad we're buddies.
We're buddies. We are friends.
But me and Trey, we're lovers.
Yeah. We're lovers.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm third wizard, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Story of your fucking life. God, I do have the capacity for evil. Well, anyways, okay. That will be the name of my autobiography.
The capacity for evil.
Yeah, like, think about it. One day you'll be going to a Barnes & Noble, you'll see 2 books side by side, one with Dylan on it, one with me on it. Dylan's one will be called Second Place is Good Enough, and my one will be called The Capacity for Evil.
That's not 100% false. I would, like, Second Place is really not that bad, to be honest.
No, I said that because you said that in the ring races, remember? You're like, Second Place is good enough. I was like, you could name your fucking autobiography that, you know?
Oh, well, that works too.
Oh, look, get a load of Gotta Be Frank in the chat. Well, anyways, enough.
Freaking gosh.
Dylan, stop being self-indulgent for 1 second. We've got more stuff to talk about, okay? So, alright. Sonic 3. Yeah?
What did I ban Frank for kissing the skeleton? I would never do that.
No, actually, yeah, Frank last night on Shovel Knight, he admitted that he and the skeleton have a thing, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. The skeleton literally doesn't have a heart.
Well, I know, but it's like a metaphorical heart, you know?
No, he doesn't have one. He's evil, he eats people.
No, it's like metaphorical evil.
No, it's just complete and absolute evil. He read my autobiography and decided, you know what, I'm gonna go with that. Well, anyway.
But, like, I mean, like, it could be like not like a literal, though.
Right, look, listen. Alright, so, Sonic 3's merchandise has began leaking, alright? Okay, so, We've
What
got
is it, like water bottles? I need to like patch up the holes.
Yes, we've got listings for different toys. So the listings include Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Tails, Robotnik, and a new character. So that will be Wade. But
We can hope.
I mean, look, I want it to be Amy really badly. I do. Maybe even Rouge. But, like, oh, I don't know. I did see... Okay, so one of the things that has leaked are images of a new Sonic toy. It's like I think a foot-tall Sonic action figure. And he talks when you squeeze his tummy. His eyes light up. He's got light-up quills. Looks really cool, to be honest. Like, I'm an adult, and I'm looking at that like, god damn. If I had money and I had space, that would be on the shelf. And they're doing a range of those. And on the back it says, like, here's some of the other toys you can get. And they list Shadow and... I think it's Shadow and Ivo Robotnik are listed. And it's interesting because they do actually list him as Ivo Robotnik. Not Dr. Robotnik, not Robotnik like the previous toys. They go out of their way to specify this is Ivo. And I think that might be a tell that we will be seeing more of the Robotnik family tree in Sonic 3. I mean, we know Maria's in there, but the truth be told, none of us have ever stopped to ask, what if she's just called Maria, but she's not Maria Robotnik? But, okay, yeah, no, the ones on the back listed, I've got the picture now, are Sonic, Tails, Shadow, and Ivo Robotnik. It's also worth noting that Robotnik doesn't appear to be any different from the Sonic 2 version. He appears to be wearing the same outfit. You can't really tell whether or not he's fat or anything like that, but...
To be fair, that outfit is perfect.
Yeah, I love that
I think they
outfit.
should keep him in that one. I think he looked great in the movie.
Yeah,
no, I agree. I love that outfit a lot. It's very much modern Robotnik. A lot of the sources were saying he gets his classic look, and I don't know if that's referring to, like, the cape, but I feel like that would be a downgrade, personally.
I think if it's like maybe the little cape that he has in like the OVA or like some of the new like Superstars animations, I think that could be fine.
When they say his classic look, I think they're also referring to just him being fat, basically. He's got that Robotnik look, complete with, the... Yeah. They also mentioned in that CinemaCon thing that he had depraved eyes, so I really want to know what that's all about, but, I'll throw up on screen. Here is that Sonic toy.
He's having a hard time.
There's even a little description here as well, saying, Sonic is on a roll, saved the world twice, but who's counting? And has 2 besties for his team. But will they be enough to handle a devastating new threat? Oh, that really doesn't sound like Amy's in it, does it? But, like, interestingly, like, yeah, for those watching on the stream, I'm gonna pull this down here. You can see, yeah, look, Sonic, Tails, Shadow, Ivo, Robotnik. And I did kind of see, like, okay, they've just got these 3 listed, so maybe no Amy or no Rouge, but there's no Knuckles on here either, so... we don't know. We don't know. It's really up in the air. They could be keeping, Amy and Rouge a little close to their chest. But it would be a shame to have, Sonic and the Sausage Fest 3, like, let's get some of these girls in here, because, I mean...
the new crossover with Sausage Party.
If the Sonic franchise is hot chick heaven, how is anyone going to know based on these movies,
That is true, yeah. That is very true. You're right about that.
He's got such a way with words.
I mean, have you seen the Guptil video, Dylan?
The what?
Guptil. He was a YouTuber back in the day.
Guptil?
And the guy probably had to deal with a lot of ridicule for this, so I don't want to draw any negative attention to the guy. This is all in good faith. But he did a ranking of the top 10 hottest female Sonic characters. And
okay, well, I know the video I'm aware of because of the memes, but like I didn't know the channel name, I guess.
Well, he refers
to
it
it
as
started
Hot
with
Chick
that.
Heaven.
You could have said the channel who did the
Well,
the
I
video.
thought you were saying it had such a way with words because I referred to the franchise as Hot Chick Heaven. I'm just like, what the fuck?
No,
I
I'm
didn't
just
come up with that. That's
the entire
Guptil.
string of comments you made. Just like it was a lot going for it. There's a lot in there.
Guptil is 64, but yeah. I think they would really be missing a trick if they didn't include either of those two. But yes. Still looks like a cool toy. That's kind of our first look, anyways. And you did get a little look at Movie Shadow down there. Some people are saying, oh, it's a shame that our first look at Movie Shadow came in the form of a merchandise leak, but...
I simply just will not look at it.
To be fair, we got our first look at Movie Shadow in the after credits of Sonic 2. So I think
wasn't
it's
that just a modded, not modded, but wasn't that just like a no, wasn't it just like a modified
Sonic movie?
No, it was a modified version of the Supersonic model. That's why.
That's literally all it's gonna be. I don't see them changing it much more than that.
They said they weren't. They didn't have a Shadow model yet, so they did that. So I assume he's gonna look a little bit different.
Maybe, but I think that's just what Shadow looks like. I've also just thrown up on screen for those watching. There's a new render.
He threw up. He throwed up.
There's a new render of Sonic that we haven't seen before, so that's looking good. He's got a little attitude to him, liking it. And it's kind of good to see because, like, with the second movie, especially, they got really lazy with the Sonic renders. Like, they made new ones for Tails and Knuckles, but for Sonic, they just reused the movie 1 renders. It could be a reference to the games,
the main series
renders or reuse them. But it's actually kind of interesting to see that they're really the main series is using those Sonic X Shadow Generations renders a lot now. Like they had that food menu thing, and like they've got the new renders for Sonic and Shadow, which actually look pretty good. But then they've got the gack old ones for like Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, and they just look terrible in comparison. Anyways, I think they look bad anyway. But I want to kind of throw that up on stream because. Yeah, there was this Japanese food menu thing, Sonic-themed, and it was like, you know, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, all fairly normal dishes, like spaghetti and meatballs and stuff like that, whereas the Shadow meal was like a literal pile of shit with like a little red insect on top of it.
Yes, the Shadow Shit Cube.
The Shadow Shit Cube. No, but that is the kind of shit you'd eat, Dylan, to be honest, but, alright, yeah, so... Throwing this up on stream as well, then. Just for again for the viewers. If you're an audio viewer, don't view audio. That doesn't make any sense. But okay, the Sonic X Shadow Generations menu. For Sonic, you've got onion rings and a chili dog. Makes sense. Tails, you've got I don't know what the fuck that is. Probably shrimp or something. Knuckles is kind of like a chili beef bowl kind of deal. And then Shadow just has whatever the fuck that is. Like, what is that? What in the god? What on God's fucking green earth is that?
What on
Eldritch
God's green Mobius.
Horror fucking shit right there. But again, Sonic and Shadow's renders here look really nice, and then you scroll down to Tails and Knuckles, and it's like, have they heard of lighting before? And then there's Amy and a Chow, and Amy has a dessert item, obviously, because she's a girl, and girls like dessert. And the Chow has a drink, because Chows... don't eat. But yeah, there you go.
Eat fruit.
There you fucking go. If you're an audio listener, be sure to check out the visual version of that because Shadow's food really cannot be understated. I don't know what that is. But it is the kind of thing Dylan would get in a sub. Yeah.
So true.
One of these days...
See, he's threatening me again.
I didn't say anything. One of these days...
One of these days, Pop. One of these days. Bam!
One of these
Straight to the moon.
You're gonna try it.
What's next on the piss? Oh, brother. Oh,
question.
boy. Oh, boy. Okay, so here we got one that's gonna upset some folks. Maybe someone will make a podcast about it. Knuckles. The Knuckles TV series, guys. Week 12, I think. Where are we at?
Oh, yeah.
I know we're not allowed to complain about the Knuckles TV series, according to some, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Because it just gets worse somehow. Just when I thought this could not get any worse, it manages to get worse. So, some concept art has come out from the Knuckles TV series. Now, I do have a bit of a policy myself. Unless you are pretty much 100% sure that an image is AI, don't make assumption, because there's so many artists that go on Twitter and stuff and will like post their art, and then someone will say, oh, this is AI, and that's not fair. That creates a much worse environment for artists. But this is pretty airtight. Again, I'm not going to say for definite that it's AI, because... Again, unless I'm 100% sure, I'd rather not risk calling someone else's art AI if it's not. but it definitely looks like it. And this artist also has used generative AI. If you look through their profile, they've used it before. It doesn't appear to be labeled on this one, but like looking at it, I wouldn't put it past it. I'll throw it up on the stream for people to look at themselves, but it's basically artwork of those Team Rocket looking knockoffs from the Knuckles TV series. I think it was Agent Willoughby and Agent Kid Cudi. This is the concept art of that, and people have pointed out that there are some things like brush kind of marks on some bits, which has led some to speculate maybe the base is AI, but some tweaks were made using, I don't know, actual art. Others have said, no, that is just, you could just use the generative AI and prompt it to make it look like an actual painting.
Right.
And it's funny, I've seen some other kind of instances of kind of coping where people said AI art was unable to do this kind of stuff back in early 2023 when this would have been in production. But it's like, no, dude. When it was 2022 when I was looking at images of the international lava eating contest of Poland. Not Poland, Iceland. Like, that was all very different stuff, but like, again, like AI was capable of this. And even if it isn't the entire thing, it definitely looks kind of stinky, and I don't mean that in a good way. It kind of has that AI stench to it. Again, if I'm wrong, fair enough, but I'm going to say this much. I've kind of made my views on AI public in the past, in that I am actually more middle of the road than some others. Like, if a YouTuber is using AI in the thumbnail, provided it's not like, like, YouTube is not a huge deal. If someone wants to make an AI shit post, I don't really care. There's that Mario shit post where he takes Luigi to the hospital, and that's AI. And I've seen the real recreations of it, but something it's hard to recreate. Just how much the AI kind of doesn't view any irony in what it's making, and that's kind of funny. But, like, when it comes to shit posts and stuff like that, I could care less. But this right here is exactly what I don't want to see. A big company like Paramount Pictures using AI to generate concept art. That is completely beyond the line as far as I'm concerned.
That's the thing with this, though. Because if we say, hey, we have this technology that can do this, and it's funny when we make shit posts with it, but don't use it, if it's going to take someone's job away, the corporations are going to go, it's free. It's free. Yeah, we don't have to pay for it.
That's why I think there does need to be regulations in place. There's like a lot of nuance to my kind of opinion on this, in that it's like, look, Lord knows I've shared gross pictures of like AI food, cursed images and stuff in group chats and stuff. Because I can kind of get down with that. The thing is, yeah, it's a genie that once it's out of the bottle, it's very, very difficult to get it back in the bottle. And once
we've seen this in media, we've seen this in like Terminator and shit. Like, I don't know why we're surprised, but the thing is, I'm kind of curious, right? Because like, let's say this was AI usage. How much money do you think someone would have been paid to make that concept art? Like how much? I mean, I'm not saying like for like in support or anything. I'm just curious. Like, how much do you think that they like saved in parentheses by doing that versus just having someone make something that's like of actual like decent good quality?
Well, looking at the context of this, it does appear that this is still stuff made by an artist who was paid to do art. It's just that they used AI in the artwork, which, to be fair, is more what it's supposed to be. But I don't know how I feel about AI being industrialized. Like, that's always been the line I've drawn in the sand. For leisure, fine. You want to generate some cursed images? Fine. Industrialization? No. This should not be industrialized. Because I think it's also in the best interests of, like, the government to put regulations on this because of the art economy. Like, there's a huge, like, economic hit that could be taken if, AI were to interfere with the industry to that extent. I'm probably not saying it perfectly.
Aren't there, like, I saw this somewhere, and I don't know how credible this is, but I saw somewhere that some companies were actually trying to sue generative AI.
Oh yeah,
for some reason, but I'm not too terribly sure what the.
No, I read about that because there's a bunch of companies trying to sue AI right now because of all of the models that were trained off of copyrighted material. So like a lot of people were like, This is like fucking Darth Vader and Sephiroth fighting. It's like, one of them's gonna die probably. Like, that's great. But,
Yeah. Who do you want to support? Greedy companies or generative AI at this point? It's like
there's no good side. It's like the presidential debate.
Yeah. Oh god, I didn't even see that because I knew it was going to be.
It's also like the U.S. government suing Adobe over like the deceptive practice of like hiding it from people buying the monthly subscription, that there's a massive exit fee if they do the yearly thing paid monthly. And it's like, God, am I really gonna root for the US government here? Because as an Adobe user, God, I would love to cancel my Adobe subscription, but if I do, I gotta part with like $400. Like, no thank you. Ugh, yeesh. Yeah. It's the topic of AI is a difficult one. I always like to try and keep it nuanced and stuff. Like, again, I'm not out to like dogpile other content creators that might have used AI in their own stuff, because I just think that's small potatoes. I don't really care. I'd rather pick my battles. But like when it comes to the industrialization of AI, it's very gross. But also like there's a lot of very dangerous things with AI as well, like such as revenge porn and stuff like that. I'm surprised that celebrities aren't suing this thing en masse for just the fact that you could pretty much input naked prompts of any celebrity into one of these things, probably. Like, it's very dangerous. And like the Luma Labs thing as well, how that is able to create realistic looking footage. Did you see the recent like Toys R Us has made a comeback in a capacity?
Oh. Yeah, I saw that fucking gnarly commercial.
Yeah, they had a commercial that was made entirely using generative AI, and like, yeah, like think of like, it's just think of like the falsified evidence you could create,
like a collection of nothing. Like it's just also like a bunch of loosely connected shit like floating around in space. I was like, what kind of?
But also, like
this doesn't sell me on anything. Like, this looks awful.
You want to create like, have you got someone that you hate, and there's been like a crime in your local area? You could just open up Luma Labs, make some footage of the person you hate committing the crime, and then it's out there, Like, that's why this thing really does need to be regulated and thoroughly investigated, because it is a very dangerous tool, beyond just the economic risk. So, like, yeah, it makes me just unhappy to see it involved in this project. But I will say this, they wouldn't need so much concept art if they just use characters from the games that already have designs. But also, why do you need AI to put a person in a fucking suit and tie with robot gloves on? Like, what? It's not exactly, like, the epitome of complex design, is it? Like,
people have been drawing that shit for years anyway. Like, again, it's laziness and it's cheapness.
Yeah.
If that's what it is.
I think.
Like,
at the end of the day, I do suspect
they don't do that again. Hope they actually pay people who want to work on it and who would be excited to work on it.
I do suspect that this is an artist that they've brought on, and the artist has just used generative tools with it, which I would much rather than just like Paramount's just like, oh, we're going to use an AI and replace you. Like, that's a better precedent. Like, that's what AI is there for. But it's too obvious, man. It's too obvious. At least do a little work. Do a little work for your wages, Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not the most educated on this subject, but it's something that is causing some buzz. I don't like the look of it. And it's because it's associated with a TV show I don't like, it therefore gives me more reason to shit on that.
I was gonna make a meme, I didn't have time, but it was like that guy in the suit. It's usually reserved for content creators, but the caption was gonna be, when that show that you found stupid and annoying finally gives you a justifiable reason to hate it. it's just him standing there. I'm gonna make it because it's so funny. But yeah,
when that happens, the Grinch smile that comes across my face is crazy.
It's like, oh yeah, I knew this sucked, because my moral compass. Terrible, it's like, no, it was just bad. Yeah, it's awful, terrible, morally so.
It was bad. It's just a terrible show.
Yeah, my psyche could sense it.
Guys, you're not allowed to criticize it though. You just didn't get what you were expecting, and you're being a baby.
I mean, true, I'm being a baby, but like, what's wrong with that?
It's true, I have just been born.
Yeah, it's like, were you born yesterday? Yeah, I was.
I'm
like,
fresh out of my parents. Fresh out of my father's pee.
Wait, oh, okay. I was gonna say you're fresh out of parents. Like you ran out of supply.
I am literally a sperm cell, guys. Like swimming around, going down the drain, going for a trip to the sewer.
What the fuck are we talking about now?
I have no idea.
Ugh.
Well, there's one more bit on the piss. And this is a bit old news, but we didn't talk about it, and I think there are conversations worth kind of having about this. I think it was producer Toby Asher talked a little bit about the Knuckles production and kind of responded to some of the criticisms aimed at the show, like saying that, he recognizes that, there's people that are disappointed by it and stuff, and that's good to hear. I'm glad they know we're fucking disappointed by this. I get some I had some emails from Paramount Plus saying that my payment method kept failing, and it's like, I'm pretty sure I cancelled this thing, but I'm just gonna email them back saying, guys, I cancelled it because I hated the Knuckles TV show, and I want you to know it. But like, am I that petty? Probably, but producer Toby Asher, like, some of the stuff he said does actually make quite a bit of sense, and I can understand how this happens. Like, one of the first things he kind of mentioned was that with this Sonic universe, he wanted it to kind of be a slow burn, like, so the first Sonic movie, you've just got Sonic, you've got Robotnik, and that's kind of it, and then you just kind of build up from there, continually building up piece by piece, until eventually you've got all of those characters in there. And, like, Knuckles was kind of no exception. It served as another slow burn installment to kind of gradually build things up. It is funny, talking about Sonic and using the word slow burn feels really wrong to me. And I do think, after there's some interesting things here, because on one hand, I can see the merit in... Did you guys hear that?
No, what?
No, what?
Someone outside my window is really flexing his motorcycle engine. Like, he's really flexing it. He wants us to know. Well, anyways. Hey, dude, they didn't hear you. So, it ain't worth it.
Hey, dude, you're so cool! You're so cool, dude!
You're awesome!
Yeah, I love those people. There's someone in my neighborhood that's here every day that is just, like, out there revving up their motorcycle for, like... It just feels like they're sitting in their driveway revving up their motorcycle.
I mean, I'll be real. It's kind of awesome when you're not recording stuff. It can be kind of cool to, because I remember I had my buddy Brad back when I was in college, and like after college he'd get on his motorcycle, and he was like the one guy there that had a motorcycle, and we would just gather around and watch him just kind of like using this thing and revving it a little, and it was in like a parking lot, and it was awesome. I can understand why that is the way it is, but like when you're trying to record stuff, it's like my understanding of that goes out the window. I'm just like, okay, well done, you've got a motorcycle, great, excellent, I'm really proud. But that's just feelings in the moment. Back to what I was saying is like, yeah. On one hand, I'm mixed because I don't really believe in companies or creatives changing the course of their project based on an industry trend. That can be a really bad thing when you're already onto something good, but then another thing has come out in the industry that proved it could be done another way, and then you change the vision, and then you've ended up losing kind of sight of what made those original things great. So, what I was going to say here was, I feel like the slow burn thing should have been abandoned the second Illumination bought out the Super Mario Bros. Movie, because it proves that you can do that. It seems asinine, but I have to be completely self-aware here. Back when that first Sonic movie was coming out, and back when, like, Sonic 2 was coming out, I've looked at my discussions and stuff, I've looked at old Sunset City episodes, and I was very much in the camp of, they are taking into account making these movies as accessible as possible and not alienating for the casual audiences and stuff like that, etc., etc. That was genuinely a mentality at the time, and I think that very much reflects in those movies. And now I'm like, well, now that the Super Mario Brothers movie's here, it should be a case for Sega or Paramount, pull your fingers out, get all of the characters in there now, and let's just really show everyone what this franchise is all about in these movies, because they are some of the most high-profile releases in Sonic, ultimately. Like, they're bringing in a bigger audience than any of the games ever have, to my understanding anyway. So to a lot of people, this is going to be their first impression of Sonic. This is going to be the first thing they kind of know about Sonic. And it's a shame that people are seeing like a very, very watered down version of Sonic, one that has been diluted by a slew of human characters and stuff. And I don't even hate human characters. I've been watching Sonic X recently, and I adore that show. I love Sonic X. But, so, kind of, on one hand, I'm like, I think they should change things, make it so that they can get more characters in these installments. But on the other hand, it's like, you're already on track for this slow burn thing. I kind of want to see what you're cooking. And it's troublesome. Honest to God, I think all I really need is to see them put Amy in these movies, because she's a really important character, especially to Shadow's story. She's one of the most important people in that story.
Yeah.
It would be wrong to not have her.
I have a strong feeling that, like, Amy's role is going to be designated to one of the already established human characters. At least,
hate that idea.
That's how I foresee it, and I don't like it either. But
I genuinely hate that idea more than if they just changed the story so that Amy isn't it. Like, I would rather they not have a moment of Shadow getting talked down by someone else and had something else cause him to change his mind than they recreate the scene from Sonic Adventure 2 with JoJo or Maddie or Tom. Like, because I think changing it a bit is like, okay, there's a missed opportunity there, but it's changed. Whereas, like, taking this iconic character's moment and giving it to a fucking nobody that nobody would ever pay a movie price for. It's just kind of... I hate to use the word because it gets overused, but it just kind of offends me a little. Like... So...
I get what you... I think the counterpoint... And I'm not really counterpointing you because, like, I agree with you. But...
Yeah.
How it was done in Sonic X was actually pretty good, in my opinion. Where it was relegated to...
That would only make it more egregious to me, though, is the fact that this has happened once already, you know? Like, Sonic X was one thing. If they're gonna do that again with the movies, it's like, how many middle fingers are we gonna put up at this stupid pink hedgehog? Like... Like, you want to have...
Yeah, actually, I hate Amy. Actually, that's why I'm okay with the human characters replacing.
Maybe they'll introduce Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic is in movie 4, and he kidnaps little Billy, Sonic's neighbor, down the street. It's just like, it's everything but Amy.
Not little Billy.
They'll do a Sonic Frontiers adaptation, and you have Tails and Knuckles on the other islands, and then you have Lil Susan, the girl that Sonic babysat one time. And it's like, the thing is, representation. I know some people are going to say I'm getting political here. Maybe I am. Who gives a fuck? But reputation is kind of important, especially when it comes to kids' movies. And I'm not talking about representing a specific subculture. I'm talking about representing girls. Like, that's not like a tiny little subculture. That's like, you know...
The women's
is bread and butter, you know, like
all the pink hedgehogs out there that exist.
No, but
you will be represented.
The thing I'm kind of getting at is there's a lot of little girls going to see these movies, and they've got Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, but it's like, who's representing them there, you know? And people will say, "Oh, JoJo and Maddie," and like, shut the fuck up. No one ever made a human Sonic OC ever. No one ever did that. That never happened.
Okay, I actually have friends that do have human Sonic OCs.
Well, tell them to shut the fuck up. But like,
because they have a lot of OCs, and they've built like their own little.
Well, first of all,
their own sort of continuity.
First of all, that's a lie, because you don't have other friends. Secondly,
oh, here we go.
Secondly,
we're your only friends.
No one's buying plushes of Maddie Wachowski. They don't exist, and there's a reason for it. Is no one would fucking buy one. Except people that find Tika Sumpter really attractive. So, okay, maybe I'd buy one. But, like...
Tika Sumpter is very, very attractive. She's a very attractive woman.
She is a beautiful woman. And Maddie is actually a good character. I do like Maddie Wachowski a lot. But I'm just like, you gotta have Amy. But anyways, back to kind of the thing of, like, the slow burn thing. Like, that's the thing, is I don't mind if they don't bring Big the Cat in. I can even live without Rouge for Sonic 3, rather. Even though Rouge is a big part of Sonic Adventure 2, she's not actually integral to the story. You could nix her out of it quite easily. Amy, you'd have a harder time with. Rouge, you could actually remove.
Well, I don't know, because Rouge was the spy that basically brought the information about like Shadow and Eggman's plan to the government. Am I remembering that wrong?
Yeah, that's why they gotta put Wanda in the movie now.
You're completely, absolutely right. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like I would actually argue, and again, I'm really not trying to push back. I'm kind of more so playing devil's advocate here because
I hate when we argue.
And I know we're tearing this family apart, but no.
Who the fuck's arguing here? Who the fuck? You're the only one who's arguing here. Right, that's it. Get over here. I'm gonna kill you.
What do you mean? I'm not arguing with you.
No, I'm taking off the belt. You're dying now, son.
No, not the belts. Not dying.
Dying.
Cue like sound effects of just whipping sound effects in the YouTube short. Yeah, the YouTube short that's gonna be cut from this is just gonna have like whipping sound effects. Yeah, that's just. But yeah, no, I would actually.
I said the belt was off.
Okay, but as I was saying,
we gotta wrap this up. I think.
Getting back to the topic, I would actually argue that Rouge is a little bit more integral to the story than Amy. I would love to have both because I think both are important in their own ways.
She does more.
But if I did had to pick one, it would definitely be Rouge, just because like how the story plays out, like things wouldn't have played out the same way if Rouge wasn't there.
The thing that I think though is that in the long run, Amy is the more important character anyway. And the other I know that Dylan, you mentioned Rouge does more, but to me, it's kind of what Amy doesn't do that defines her story in Sonic Adventure 2, because. She's all
in a movie though. That's not gonna work because if there's like
it could totally work.
And then she does something huge at the end, people are gonna be like, "Well, why the fuck didn't she do more?"
No, dude, it could totally work because here's the thing, right? Is she's
gonna hold on? He's gonna explain his idea again.
Well, if I'm explaining it again, why are you contradicting it?
Because it's funny.
Idiot. Okay.
It's so funny.
For those who are unaware, I don't think I've said it to Trey, right? So, Amy's whole thing in Adventure 2 is being like, oh, those boys are always leaving without me. They get to have all the fun. Oh, goddamn. And at the end, she's like, I'm such a whiner. I'm going to go help Shadow. Now, you could totally adapt this in that she's new to the group in Sonic 3, and she's like, okay, Sonic's got his speed, Tails has his ingenuity, and Knuckles has his strength. What am I bringing to this team? And she's like, well, I found a mallet in Tom's shed, I guess, but that's about it.
Why does Tom have the Pico hammer in his shed?
She will eventually
I would love it if he opened the shed and it's just the giant-ass hammer, and Maddie's like, Tom, I thought you threw that away.
No, I just like the idea that she starts off with like a little workman's hammer, and then she earns her Pico hammer. But anyways...
Oh no, not a lore reason as to why the Pico hammer is. Some things don't need a lore reason. Some things should be.
I think
that's okay.
It really services things.
She shows up. She should just have it.
It really services things if she's a little less hands-on in the first two acts, and she's like, I'm with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. I'm tagging along, but I don't know what I bring to this. Because here's the thing: there's probably a lot of kids in the world that like to think about what it would be like if they went on an adventure with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. The reality of the situation is you wouldn't know what the fuck you're doing because they've got powers and you don't. I love that.
Yeah, the result is Sonic Forces, and you know how well that turned out.
A Sonic Forces movie would be amazing. No, but if you had that arc culminate in just Amy solves the problem by talking to it, that would actually be really good. That would be really, really good.
This
that
is
would be such
okay.
a good
So
way to utilize that.
This whole thing would have been avoided if Sonic 3 was just a modernized retelling of the Sonic CD story with Metal and Amy.
No,
that's what I thought.
That's boring and stupid. I thought they were gonna go.
That's no, it's not
dumb.
stupid.
That's dumb.
Because you introduced two
Sonic CD sucks.
Okay, no, I'm giving you the middle finger right now.
No one ever played Sonic CD. Sonic CD's garbage, man.
Look, I'm just
it's not even a 3D game. It's not even 3D.
Why shut up.
It's objectively bad. Just like Paper Super Mario and the 1,000-Year Door.
I'm leaving.
I'm just saying that like they could have just said they could have called Sonic 3 Sonic 3D Blast and it would have been great.
Why would they... Oh, well, because they released it in 3D and you could get 3D glasses.
Yeah,
with it.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That would be sick.
That would so happen in like 2004. That would be the thing. But,
like 2010. I'd say 2010 because they didn't get 3D right till like around that time.
I mean, I would say okay. They need at least one of Amy or Rouge, preferably both in movie 3, and then they need something to happen that will allow them to no longer have to justify every time a Sonic character shows up in a Sonic movie. Have like a convergence event or a chaos control. Do the Sonic X thing, and they're all brought here. Have it so that like animals and humans are coexisting, because when you're in a situation where every time you want to put a Sonic character in a Sonic movie, you gotta justify it. You kind of fucked yourself, haven't you? And you want this to be the next Avengers thing? Imagine if the Marvel Cinematic Universe really had to fucking justify every time a superhero showed up. Like, you'd get nowhere.
I mean, to be fair, they did do that about like 90% of the time. I think they could go the route. They could go the route of like Black Widow though, where Black Widow did show up, kind of like unannounced. And she was like integral to the story, but we didn't know her origin until like years later.
But I think they only did that years later because Hollywood was in a weird place in regard to female leads.
I don't know. I don't think, but like the point still stands. The point still stands of like you could have a character just like put into the universe and then have them explained in a separate movie or story later on, whether it be a TV series or what have you.
All I'm saying
you can still do that.
Objectively,
do it later.
Objectively speaking, if you don't want Amy in movie 3, you are definitely sexist. But that's okay. We can come back from that. We can work on it. Remember when I said?
Oh my god!
Remember when I said the Sonic fanbase has a misogyny problem? Though it's kind of it's kind of tie-in little. I think it does.
I don't think anyone is like. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't think anyone, because you do have people who are sexist. But I think the overall like general consensus of the movies is that, like I feel like having like I think Amy being in there would be fantastic. But if I had to pick between one and the other, which I'm assuming would be one or the other.
See, you're comparing women like they're churros. You're like, oh, well, I have.
No, I'm not. I'm comparing. I'm comparing like, fictional characters. These characters aren't real.
They're not churros.
They're not real.
I don't go to Taco Bell and be like, hey,
women aren't real, pup. How many times? Women are not real.
It's really funny though that I've talked about representation when it's like, where are the woman hosts on Sunset City?
Yeah.
Oh wait, we got Dylan. We got Dylan.
What?
Hey, let's go, Dylan.
What are you trying to say?
All I'm saying is, you are a woman.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Dylan is like a unisex name, right? I'm pretty sure.
Could be.
Actually, I mean, there was a porn.
Yeah, I've met. Okay, I don't know anything about the porn.
Yes,
I don't
you
watch
do.
that.
What? Yes, you do.
No, do not.
Be for real. Yes, you do.
What did I say, Frank? What did I say? Can you repeat it in the chat?
It's amazing because there's so much more to. I haven't even begun to talk about what Toby Asher was saying about the Knuckles series.
Oh no! Oh yeah. I'm so sorry. We got on a tangent there.
Okay. If we ever do get a female host on this show, we will rename the show to Hot Chick Heaven. But okay.
Yeah.
God.
So all right. What else was revealed? Okay. So apparently it was Sega's idea to team Knuckles up with a comic relief side character. That was one of the things they put forward in discussion with Paramount, which is interesting. I would say Knuckles and Big the Cat would make a fun duo. But hey, what do I know?
They didn't want to do that, yeah.
So, yeah, interesting though to hear that was kind of Knuckles' idea? That was Sega's idea. And then, okay, so, fuck! Oh yeah, they basically said that the production team obviously really loved working with Adam Pally on the first two movies. They found his whole shtick in those movies absolutely hilarious, and it's worth noting they were actually there on set with Adam Pally, so they saw a lot more of his Wade shtick than what we would have seen when we saw Sonic Movie 1 and 2, so I can understand why they would have been more excited to do a little more of that than what we would have been, because they got to see it happening up close and stuff. But from what I understood, it was just like, we really loved working with Adam Pally, so we wanted to kind of have a platform for more of his shtick in this universe, and the Knuckles series seemed like a perfect opportunity to bring more of that in, basically. And given kind of that, you know, the CGI for Knuckles and everything is quite expensive, which I completely understand, by the way, this was a way of kind of getting around that, was tying in Wade's story with Knuckles and making it kind of a story that's about Knuckles while Wade is kind of at the forefront leading that story. I can kinda see kind of how that happens.
I know what they were... I see how they got to that point, but I just wish that they wouldn't make decisions based on things that people don't want to see.
Well, there's
no offense to the actor. I think he's funny. I think he's actually really great. I liked him.
There's that.
But like, I
also...
think they should have made a Knuckles show.
Yeah, I mean, that is the funny thing, is like, yeah, we're making a Knuckles TV series. Seems like the perfect opportunity to do more Adam Pally shtick. But I also kind of understand that it's like, okay, they would have wanted to do more with Adam Pally, but you can't sell a Wade show. Which really makes this whole thing more deceptive when you think about it. But
yeah, well, because like, I don't know, a lot of people's opinions about Wade before the Knuckles show was just like either that like he's funny or like they just didn't care for him. I didn't really see him like stealing the spotlight or people like having a high demand for him being.
It's funny
like,
because Gen 1 Set City, when we had like Nick, Sirius, and Wayne, they really didn't like Wade after just those two movies. Like,
I do remember that.
The
Actually,
consensus among them was that his comedy was kind of unnecessary, over the top, and just kind of overly referential, kind of low-hanging fruit kind of stuff. And I was kind of okay with it. There were, I remember actually when I revealed to them, because I'd seen a leak basically, and I just said to the boys, keep this on the DL, but the Knuckles show is going to center around Knuckles teaming up with Wade for a bowling tournament, and they all thought I was just doing my usual shtick. They all thought I was just memeing on them.
Oh, that's funny.
When things started to drop, I just sat there just nodding and smiling at this. But I was one of the people that said this doesn't have to be a bad thing. You could do a fun buddy road trip where Knuckles is just a character in it. I thought it was going to be like a bowling team, and that Knuckles would kind of be the ace in the hole kind of thing. And, I could see the fun in that. I think the real problem here is that the relation between Wade and Knuckles' stories isn't present enough there. It's not just the screen time. It does feel like the majority of Wade's stuff really doesn't have anything to do with Knuckles. And then also, like, obviously he doesn't really train him. But I'm gonna say this. I know how the whole Adam Pally adoration, let's do more Adam Pally, everyone's gonna love him just as much as we do, kind of mentality does come about, because I have worked on some indie film projects and stuff like that. And I've got friends that have also worked on their own little indie projects. And I've kind of seen what production can be like. And maybe you've got an actor that's playing like a funny role in there, and everyone on set is just finding this to be an absolute gas because it's happening directly in front of them. Any comedy you get will always be 10 times funnier when it is happening directly before you. When it's happening live in front of your very face. Any comedic thing will always be funnier there. And so
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Dylan.
Yes.
Dylan.
I need to run now because I have to get ready for my trip. I need to finish packing and doing all my stuff.
What? You
I already
piece
told you.
of shit. You garbage man. What time is it?
They
over
know.
there?
It's 4:50.
You said you had to go at 7.
I know, but I have things to do before that now because I haven't finished editing and I need to go.
Damn
and do
right, you got
errands
things to do. You got a fucking podcast to attend, so you sit your ass back down.
I've already
motherfucker.
been here. I've already been.
You're good. You're good.
I know.
I hope you have a safe trip. Tell everyone that's there to like hi for me.
Kill
and
you.
I miss them.
I will kill you dead.
Thanks, Trey. Hope
all
everyone
right,
has
Dylan. Before you go, do you have
a good time?
Do you have anything you want to promote before you go?
I'm really hoping I'm able to finish editing this stupid video about Sonic and the Secret Rings before I leave, and if so, it's going to be up a little bit later today, I guess, or tomorrow. But
hell yeah.
If not, then I guess just watch some of my old stuff, because I think... Go to my YouTube homepage and watch my Oddworld video.
And one more
thing
That
one's my favorite. Okay.
I just really need you to be less combative, man. Like...
Less combative.
You're so hostile towards me sometimes. It really hurts me.
Okay. Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
No, don't! I'm fucking being... No, okay, yeah, no, it's fine. It was... Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Alright, thanks. As always, had a good time.
I love you.
I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys will have a good time.
I just said I love you.
Okay.
Reciprocate. Reciprocate.
No.
Love you, Dylan.
As a
Love you,
brother.
Ray.
In a brother... What the fuck? He gets one?
Dylan's a great guy.
How
Hope
I
he has a
hate
safe
him.
trip.
I hope he doesn't. Like...
No, I hope he has a great trip. I hope he has a fantastic trip.
I hope he lives on the edge.
Of glory. Is that what you were referencing?
No,
Okay.
I meant more like living on
Because I'm on
the
the
edge.
edge, the edge, the
Stop
edge,
getting...
the
Don't...
edge,
No
the
copyright.
edge,
No
the edge,
copyright.
the
No...
edge. Yeah, because
No
I'm
copyright.
so good at replicating the song with my
It
mouth.
doesn't matter.
that
They might
we're gonna-
see that it's a cover. You know, that can happen. Anyways,
Yeah, covers are free use.
what was I saying? Like, yeah, I've known people that have had, like, you know, someone do, like, a bit part in their short film, and then they've decided to make, like, a spin-off of this thing, but no one else finds it funny because, well, when you're making the thing and you're up close with it, like, you're gonna have a closer relationship with it. And I think that's the thing, is, like,
Yeah.
people that had a good working relationship with Adam Pally and the cast and crew probably loved the Knuckles TV series because, you know, it's that experience of working with that actor, and I'm sure he probably is a blast to work with. I don't know. Like, I don't know the guy.
I think, yeah. Like,
And
I
really...
think,
I don't want to
like, he comes
personalize
off-
anything, you know? Like...
right. Like, he comes off as a naturally funny guy, so, like, I can imagine him just, like, naturally, just, like, you know, quipping things up. But, again, it's all, like, part of the reason why things are funny, especially in an improv sense, is because it's actual improv and it's, like, off the cuff. It's like, oh, he came up with this, you know, in the spur of the moment. But if it's scripted out, then, like, the timing's off and you don't really get any kind of reaction out of it, so it kind of falls flat.
I
at
think
least, like,
another
most of
thing
the time.
was there was probably a bit of a struggle to kind of fill dead air as well, because, like, the episodes probably had to be a certain length, but you can see some of those jokes are getting dragged out even longer than a fucking Pontaf joke in Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, I would actually say, like, yeah, we've all criticized Sonic Colors for dragging jokes out, but I would say the Knuckles series is actually worse for that in a lot of ways.
Oh, I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree with that.
But, yeah, it's like,
yeah.
looking at this, I'm like, I can understand how this happened, why this is the way this is. I don't want more of this. Maybe it's the kind of thing where if they could just make the general quality of the show better, I wouldn't object to, like, if after, like, every Sonic movie we had a little spin-off dedicated to one of the characters, and this just became a normal thing. Maybe we get a Tails show where Tails goes on a little road trip with a human sidekick. Maybe we could get, you know, a fucking Amy show where Amy's with a sidekick and stuff like that. You know, just little slice of life thingies in there doesn't have to be a bad thing. I just want the quality to be better. Because I think a lot of people have really mistaken what I actually expected out of that Knuckles series. I wasn't expecting it to be about the Master Emerald, Angel Island, and Rouge the Bat, because that wasn't in the trailer. I'm a bit bummed out.
Yeah, no.
But I wasn't expecting that. But what I expected was a show about Knuckles training Wade in a bowling tournament and kind of joining a bowling team and stuff like that. And I don't feel like I even got that. Like, I got Shabbat dinners. I got fatherly abandonment. I got ESPN. Like, none of that
ESPN.
is... I could have even done without the big mech fight at the end. I could have had a non-action slice-of-life adventure with no big fight scenes or anything like that. It's just they hit the road, they want to win a bowling tournament, Knuckles is warrior fucking coach. Knuckles unknowingly becomes the coach of a bowling team. I can vibe with that. That would actually be kind of fun. They all get in a little camper van, they hit the road, they've got the tourney, they've got the tour. That would be fun, I think. So...
Mm-hmm.
If they do more like that and do it to a higher quality, this doesn't have to be a bad thing. So, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, like, we're kind of just, like, being hopeful for, like, I guess the, what is it? I guess the perceived future, but we don't know, like, how things are gonna go. I guess, because like it's one thing to create like an inaccurate representation of what this franchise has to offer, but also like, I mean, they're so cheap that they used AI for the concept art and stuff like that, you know.
True,
and
true.
like, so it's like they're gonna cut corners in every aspect that they possibly can. There's whole episodes of the Knuckles show where Knuckles wasn't in it, so it's like I don't know.
It's worth questioning, like, because a lot of other TV shows based on movies do this. Like, what's stopping them from just doing a completely animated show with a cheaper style of animation? Like, just kind of don't go for the photorealism, go for smooth. Because like Disney,
I don't know,
had like, you know, the Rapunzel movie. They did the Rapunzel movie, and it's like, you know, it's that CGI Disney thing. Everyone, you know, knows that CGI Disney look. But then the Rapunzel.
Oh, you're talking about. Yeah, Tangle. Yeah, the Tangle series
Tangle,
was like
they had the Tangled series, and that was
same
more kind
thing.
of like
You're right.
Puppet animation kind of thing. Like there's a lot of like shows where they will switch to a cheaper method for the sake of viability, in order to make it good. Because so I would say I would be.
And funny enough
is
that like. And funny enough, like that's kind of always been the case. Like even like the Madagascar show, I remember that way back in the day.
Yeah, they didn't have the voice cast back for that, did they? Like they had a different voice cast for that show.
They had different voice casts, and you could tell that the quality of the 3D animation like took a major hit as well.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I'm okay with them going cheaper if they can do it in a stylized way, like the Tangle show. Because despite the Tangle show being like a different art style, it was still a very appealing one. It wasn't the most impressive.
Yeah.
It was almost like a what is it? Like their version of like a My Little Pony type art style, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of like I think it was kind of a lot of puppet animation kind of stuff.
Yeah. Which puppet animation, for those who don't know, it's basically like each limb has like their own separate like armature to it, but in 2D.
Yeah, it's like a rig.
And you just like move that around. Yeah, their own rig. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like you hand draw every like frame or anything like that. It's like you got a head,
right.
You got a neck, you got all this, and you can kind of move those bits independently. I use puppet animation at the start of my videos. You ever wonder why I'm called Channel Pup?
Yeah.
That's why. No, that's not why. Everyone knows the real reason. But like, I could totally lie about it.
Hey, it's a double entendre. It's a double meaning. You know, there's layers to your character.
But like, I would definitely rather have a cheaper show made, like using cheap animation. Don't get Idris Elba back. Get like an impersonator or something. I would rather have that and have it focus on Knuckles than something like what we actually ended up with in the end. So yeah, but again, it's out. It is the way that it is. I'm just hoping that maybe they'll, you know, look into other options going forward. Either that or just, I don't know, don't do big action sequences and just tell slice of life stories with these characters. Just have a series of like
funny enough.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, funny enough, that's how Sonic X did, like the show, the entirety of it. They had a few action set pieces, but most of it was like slice of life stuff. Also, Gunnar made a good point. Like what we're referring to is vector animation. So thank you for that clarification, because that is what it's called. But
kind of like if they said, okay, we're basically just gonna make Parks and Rec, but Tails is one of the characters in it. It's like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'll take that. Give me that. That actually sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it has to be it has to be as funny as Parks and Rec. That's the thing, is it has to be funny. That's my biggest problem overall with the Knuckles series, is that it wants to be a comedy and it just isn't funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I don't know, maybe like, and I'm going in a different direction, but like, I don't know if just strictly comedy fits the Sonic series that well. Maybe the Sonic movie series, maybe. But like having a series that's nothing but comedy is like, I don't know.
Reality
I don't feel like
is they want it to kind of be taken seriously by adults too, to a degree. And the thing is, you probably notice a lot of whenever there's adult animation, it's almost always a comedy, because they see that as the only way to justify it. It's like, oh, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's kind of like a way, like, you know, because if adults say like, oh, I'm watching a cartoon, they're worried other adults are going to scoff at them and be like, what are you watching a fucking cartoon for? But it's like, oh no, it's really funny. Like, comedy manages to be kind of relatively universal. And I think that's a shame. That's very cynical. But you notice it with, like, every adult comedy is a Family Guy clone. And I think with Sonic, like, their way of kind of saying this isn't a strictly kids thing is by putting comedy in there. It's like why you've got so many things like 90s references and stuff like Ghostbusters references and stuff in, like, the movies and stuff is... because they want to say, hey, adults can enjoy this because, look, it's like Ghostbusters. And it's like... the thing...
Well, I will say...
a great point,
okay.
I mean, he's made a great point before when he said he's kind of tired of pretending that the majority of the parents watching these movies don't know who Sonic is. The majority of them will probably have grown up with Sonic. Like...
yeah, well, and it's also a thing where it's like you can't really... have that assumption anyways if you're making something like related to that, you know. Like I'm not sure. Like for me, it's like, yes, you gotta make things easily digestible, but you also have to understand from a creative point of view that not everything's gonna be for everybody, and that's okay.
The other thing is the general audience are the least likely to scrutinize it. That's the thing, is so much of this has been vetted for the general audience. But kind of the way I described it was, I was like, Knuckles is kind of a show for, like, that one parent that went to go see Toy Story 3 and gave it a 0 out of 10 because they said, too much Toy Story in it and not enough live-action comedians. And it's like, no one ever said that. That audience doesn't exist, but it feels like... yeah. Like, that was made for that hypothetical audience. And it's stuff I've kind of said before. Like, it doesn't really bear much saying, but... yeah, I feel like the concept of using Sonic as a vehicle of doing, like, TED for kids, or a kid-friendly TED, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. But I think as this first outing, I'm definitely not sold on it. Like...
It's definitely a weird and I'm not the biggest fan of this word, but I don't know what else to say. It's a weird dichotomy, as one might say, because it is also very clear, considering the joke choices, that it is geared towards kids. I feel like the 90s references are mainly for, like, the adults to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, this is relating to Sonic also being kind of like a 90s thing in their mind too.
I mean, did you see the cum joke?
I did not, no.
There is a cum joke in Knuckles. Where...
well, a lot of... yeah,
I
well, a
can't
lot of,
remember
like...
who it is, but Wade shows Knuckles this cardboard cutout of this woman celebrity from his time, and Knuckles goes, what are all these little marks on it? And he's like, don't worry about that.
I mean, to be fair, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog had the same joke too, where it's like, "Don't even ask," you know. After he came out of that door, he was like, "Don't even ask."
Well,
don't even ask. So, like,
you know why that's 10 times funnier though? Is because that joke is quick. Like,
yeah, no, it's very quick, and like, and not only that, but like, I feel like I don't want to get into like the politics of cum jokes, but hear me out. I don't like Doritos. but like I feel like the whole like cum jokes and everything is like everyone says it all the time. I feel like in the 90s it wasn't nearly as said. Although I don't know. I was born in 95, so I
don't know, man. I mean, I'm not even certain that was a cum joke. I think it was just he's covered in water, and that was the joke.
I mean, but I don't know. It looks pretty suspicious.
It could have been a piss joke.
It could have been both. It could have been both. Like, it could have been, but like, I think the thing that I'm getting at is like, so the Knuckles TV series, right? I know we're still complaining about this. Bear with us. They did AI. Week 15.
It did AI, like it just fucking did MDMA.
No, it just did. Yeah, the entire show was made in AI. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even put it past them.
The joke deficit of the 90s.
Shut the fuck up.
Hell yeah, Nimbus.
There's a big lack of cum jokes tonight. We have to fix this.
Yeah, they're compensating. You know, like. You remember Chaos from Sonic Adventure? He's now going to be made of milk instead of instead of water.
Yeah. Every time he walks, it's like Squidward's footsteps. Just
as Wayne would have said, "Come-os."
But what was I saying? Oh, I think
Frank's fucking got you, dude.
with the what is it?
He said Trey justifying cum jokes in a show aimed at kids.
No, I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying that like adult jokes slither their way into kid shows sometimes.
Oh, of course.
To like keep the parents' attention. Like that's what it is. I'm not justifying it.
Did you ever see Rocco's Modern Life?
I did, not all of it, but I
that
am familiar.
For me was like, whoa, because like I think the second episode of that show is called "Who Gives a Buck." It's about Rocco getting like financial issues, and then there was another episode where Heifer starts making schnitzel, and it's called like Schnitheads, and it's like, whoa,
wow, yeah,
whoa. I mean, it's kind of known that like Warner Brothers Animation and stuff was kind of more geared towards adults in the 90s. So to be fair, I mean, if you were gonna get a cum joke in it, it'd probably be more in there than. Anyway.
Well, that's the thing I'm getting at with the Knuckles thing is that they kind of like, because I've heard no one outside of the fan base talk about the Knuckles show. No one in like real life, at least like in my immediate like real life, like circle, like, and it's funny because they know that I am a Sonic fan. A lot of my real life friends do, and it's kind of stupid, but it's whatever. But they know I'm a Sonic fan, so they would be the first to tell me if they like saw it and enjoyed it or not. They would have been probably like, like I feel like Paramount has to like kind of understand that like the general audience is going to watch it, but like no one's talking about it outside of the core fan base that this series originally appeals to.
I mean, yeah, so, like that's the thing is like while he is a part of the core fan base, like my buddy Webster, he's obviously a Sonic fan. But he mentioned that he watched Knuckles with his kids and they had a good time, and I was like, "Well, that's all that fucking that's all that really matters is that your kids enjoy it ultimately. Like that is the bigger thing at stake here. The only thing I would say though is I feel like if I were a kid, I would be disappointed by the lack of Knuckles in it and animated characters, like because that's. And that's like, I mean, have you seen the show yet, Trey? I think you mentioned you hadn't seen it.
No, I have not. I don't have a subscription to Paramount Plus.
It really does feel like it is trying harder to appeal to adults than the two movies did.
That is funny, because, but like, and yeah, that's like, I'm not going to take away anyone's experience of whether or not they had a good time. I guess for me, it's just that, like, it is one of those things. I'm not saying that like every piece of media has to be the most groundbreaking, innovative thing ever. It can't just be a good time. But like outside of like the core fan base, like no one really found it like that remarkable. And at least like in my opinion, it's like if you're gonna go so far as to like acquire an IP that's very well recognized and all this other stuff, like why not like you can still make the show a good time, but why not just like add like a little bit more like nuggets aside from a musical number to like
we got
have the fan base chewing on.
Guess. We got Patrick Mack, who doesn't really act like Patrick Mack. He's just kind of he's Christopher Lloyd.
Like whenever I saw like the screen caps of him, I'm like, that's a deep cut. That's kind of crazy. But like, let's see where they go with that.
The thing I found so funny was that they talk about Patrick Mack like he's the most honorable echidna of them all and stuff. And I was like, huh. We know Paramount's stance on Israel, and now they're portraying Pachacamac as a hero. This makes a lot of sense.
I mean, yeah, like even throughout the show, they weren't
not
really,
to
like,
get
hiding
political,
it.
But
not to get political, but yeah, no. I don't know. I guess for me, it's just like I don't really, and it can just amount to just a good time. It doesn't have to be, But I think like if you're trying to build a wider universe type deal,
this cinematic universe speak is like any more of this, and you're gonna run it into the ground. Like you've got to pick
it just seems kind of like a waste of time because it's like what did we gain from like Knuckles as a character before and after the show? In my opinion, not much. Like we got more out of Wade's character than anything, in my opinion. But
so if nothing else, we at least have that.
I guess so.
Well,
is there anything else on the piss?
There's nothing else on the piss. This is the last thing.
All right.
Apart from the bit that says that Trey Nobles is still a really tainted Jezebel.
No, Dylan's the one that's having sex, not me.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, he's having sex right
Yeah,
now. That's why,
yeah,
that's why he had to go
yeah.
so fast. Is he got a bitch on standby, and he's like,
I was gonna say, like, yeah, he had a hinge date that he had to go to.
It wasn't even a hinge date. The man doesn't need apps. He just goes out and he's like, "Hey, baby,
No,
you want some of that? You want some of that Dylan dick?" And then they're definitely having sex.
Dylan with his tall stature, going up to women.
Dude, he's so tall. He's like 5'7".
Yeah,
Which is taller
He's
than
as
me,
tall
so that's
as-
really tall.
like that's like, I think that's like Michael Jackson height. Like that's how tall Michael Jackson was. I'm pretty sure it was like 5'8", I think. I know that Bon Jovi was like 5'8". Oh God. I'm just saying that like Dylan's right for success regardless, you know. So there you go. But yeah, no, this good talks though all the way around. I was kind of afraid it was going to be kind of a shorter episode, but we still were able to like fill things out, and we still got a whole other section to worry about.
Definitely. We got super chat time. So let's get through these. And thank you to everyone who's donated. Yeah, I kind of want to try and get done before 11 p.m. my time, which is soon, because then the store will shut and then I need to get stuff to eat. But that's okay. There's a 24-hour McDonald's down the street. But even then, I want something a little more nutritious. Anyways, okay. You know what? Maybe McDonald's.
Do we have all the super chats?
Oh my god, I haven't copy pasted them. I'm so silly. All right, let me go to super chat mailbag. God, why is Nick fucking messaging me now? Just fuck off.
No, don't fuck off.
I'll edit your stupid video later. Thanks for the payment.
No. Nick, you're amazing and I miss you. We DM'd not too long ago and I miss talking to him.
Why do you talk to Nick?
He's a great dude. I love him.
Yeah, but he's my friend.
He can be my friend too.
No, he fucking can't. We've been over this.
You can't.
For starters,
you can't.
Trey, rule number one, buddy. You don't speak to other men. Okay? How dare you?
Yeah. What kind of controlling relationship is this? I can speak to whatever man I want.
It is amazing how like so much of my humor just hinges on abusive relationships, and I'm a little worried.
Yeah, and like hoping the other person's like, hey, they're joking.
Maybe
like, they're not being
maybe
real.
This is why I am single and why I have been single for a very long time.
Just go to Christian Mingle, saved, single, and ready to mingle. You know.
That's the point, though. I think if I were a Christian, I would have such an easy time. I could just be like, hey, that Jesus, am I right? Well, I got some news. You ever heard about the second coming? I'll give you the third.
It's like, hey, the Lord told us we needed to be together. It's ordained by the church.
I will just explain why I am the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, because I remember when I was up in heaven, I was like, we're going to do things a little different this time. I'm going to come down here, I'm not going to have powers, I'm going to be one of you. I'm just going to be like, you want to get into heaven? Suck my dick.
I don't think Jesus would do that.
I think he would. I would.
I really do.
I think he would.
G-Wiz of the stars. Hey, what's up? I'm sorry. Yeah, she's the social media manager, at least from my understanding, of Phantasy Star Online 2.
Ooh.
So she works with Sega.
Ooh. We finally have official Sega attention, and it's me talking about how I'm going to pretend I'm the second coming of Jesus Christ to get laid. Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
What good timing.
It's been so long. It's been so long, G-Wiz. I hope you're doing well. Don't worry, this is kind of like the norm. Yeah, no. Hope you're doing well, though.
Welcome to whatever this... Yeah, I've posted them now. We're ready.
Okay.
Also, nice of you to just out her secret identity. Now everyone in the chat is giving her, a hard time.
Okay, well, my bad. I'm not giving her a hard time. I don't feel like I am.
People in there are like, oh, Fantasy Online too bad. And now, look what you've done.
No one's saying that Phantasy Star Online 2 is bad.
Yeah, no. Well, they could.
Yes.
How could you be so irresponsible? You do not release people's secret identities like that. See? Look what you've done! Now she doesn't know what to say.
Look, I'm sorry. I get excited when I know that there's people in the chat watching, so that's my bad. But no.
How did you meet? Like, how did you become friends?
I mean, I think we've just been mutuals for a long time, just based on similar interests. They're very nice. We've talked a couple times.
In future, if you want to make a new friend, run it by me, okay? God, we've been over this.
Do I I'm pretty sure this was before I met you, Pup.
No, you've known me for a million years. All right, are you ready to do the super chats?
Yeah, let's do the super chats. Let's read them out.
Borker. Oh, I start then. Okay. Josiah Rovirosa with $4 freedom $99. People thinking Sega were the ones to enforce the mandates. Meanwhile, in Sonic 06, don't cry, Elise. I don't actually get it. I'm sorry. Thank you for the super chat. I don't get it, though.
I don't get
it. What? Oh, wait.
Could
it be that, like, Elise is like Sonic in that she's not allowed to cry or else the world will end? That'll do it.
I don't think I still get it. I don't think I do. But I appreciate the attempt, and thank you for being so generous, Josiah.
Skibbity bum dada. Okay. Borker.
All right. So Josiah. Oh my gosh, how do you pronounce that last name?
I literally just said the name a minute ago.
I know. It just fed in and right out. Roverosa. I want to say. Yeah, Josiah Roverosa. With $4.99 US again. Thank you again. A normal conversation between Rouge and Pup. Rouge, OMG, you're so cute and funny. Pup, thanks. Rouge, can I crush your balls? Pup, yep.
How are you enjoying the show, G Wheels of the Stars?
How are you enjoying the show, everybody? Actually, because I don't know if this is like prime entertainment.
This is the thing, though. Is like, look, I love Rouge. Okay, I love her. But I do sometimes fear that she might be too much woman for me in a way, you know? Like, I can't be doing that CBT stuff. It would scare me, frankly. I'm not robust enough for that. So I'd probably just, you know, I'd get my opportunity if I did, and I'd be like, okay, please be gentle, though. Like, compared to your usual pace, please. Anyways.
Understandable.
Borker.
All right, so I guess it's your turn?
Yes. We've got 2 skibbity euros from The Fallen Redditor. Sonic 3 soundtrack isn't looking good. Expect nothing. Yeah, we've all played Origins, but...
No!
No, I know. This is in reference to Junkie XL doing the Sonic 3 soundtrack.
Yeah.
This isn't news, by the way. Like, that tweet that's going around was from February. However...
I was gonna... Yeah.
I'll drop some thoughts on this. Okay, so... Junkie XL, when he cooks, he really does cook. If you've ever heard his work on Zack Snyder's Justice League, there you go, there's your reference. That stuff has, like, a lot of electric guitar. He started off as a DJ as well. Like, a lot of his DJ stuff kind of feeds into that, which means that he would be an excellent choice for Sonic, but I don't know why those soundtracks are coming out the way that they are, whether it is because Paramount is asking for it to be that way. And I mean... He did actually say that in an interview about Sonic 1. He said that he actually bought the Yamaha sound chip that the Sega Mega Drive uses and intended on composing all the soundtrack on that, but he was asked to stick to orchestral, but he tried to work in synth kind of where he could. So I don't know how much of this has him to blame. Not to mention that I think it was Tom Howe that did the soundtrack for Knuckles. And let's be real, that's absolutely no better. Like, there is no difference in the problems there. You could believe that maybe Junkie XL did that soundtrack too. Like, I don't... I think there is definitely some kind of thing that's being said in the studio saying, like, try to just make it, like, movie music generally, and that stinks.
Yeah.
Like...
It does. I didn't even know about him purchasing a YM2612, which is the Yamaha sound trip. But like that's actually pretty cool. But like when you're in a composing role for a different like IP, you're in a servant's role. So like you could present ideas, but like there's a lot of times where like you're not in control of like the product that you put out. You're there to like do a job. It's almost like you're working a restaurant and you're like, oh, this recipe would be so much better if I just changed this and that. And the restaurant owner's like, no, like just make it the way it is. It's like,
it is
okay.
worth noting, though, from the sounds of things, I haven't seen the MonsterVerse movies or heard his music on them, nor do I know anything about the MonsterVerse music overall, but from what I've heard, like, Godzilla and Kong fans are dissatisfied with his work on those films, too, because, again, he doesn't reuse iconic themes. And on one hand, that could be his call. On the other, maybe that's not his call, because, again, there are licenses involved in this stuff. They have to get clearance, and maybe they just didn't get the clearance to use those themes. He did mention the reason why music from Sonic 1 and 2 doesn't show up in Sonic 1 and 2, and only a brief snippet of Green Hill does, is because Dreams Come True have those soundtracks on lock. Like, they couldn't necessarily make... that's true. Using those soundtracks heavily. However, there's a lot more Sonic music than just the stuff that was on the Mega Drive. You know, like
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. And also, you could make like New Jack Swing type music, like with the OVA and with Mania.
Yeah, I mean, the opening track from Turning Red. I haven't seen the movie, but there's the opening track from Turning Red. I can't remember.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Who did the soundtrack for that one? It was the same one that did Black Panther, I think. OST, Turning Red OST. Ludwig Göransson, that's it. That has that New Jack Swing vibe. It just sounds like Sonic music when you hear it. Like, it doesn't have a Sonic melody, but it sounds like Sonic music. They could do that. They could do more rock stuff, you know? Like, it would still sound like Sonic music. So I really don't understand the approach that anyone has taken towards the Sonic movies' music. I think it's important that they do get it right for this new movie, because, like, Sonic Adventure 2 music
for sure.
Is, like, that's show-stopping stuff. That's, like, grand finale concert level stuff. Like,
it's like having a Jet Set Radio game, like, without, like, Hideki Naganuma sound, you know?
Obviously,
like the sound... Yeah.
People have been kind of taking it as verbatim when Johnny Gioeli said that Live and Learn would be in the movie. He mentioned that Paramount have kind of purchased the license to that, or something along those lines anyway. But obviously Johnny Gioeli doesn't know anything about the final cut of the film, and it could have been that the license was purchased to include it in the trailer. There is still every possibility that Live and Learn might not be in the film. And if it isn't, they are really, really missing a trick. But I understand, like, there's also the perspective of, like, some people say Crush 40 music wouldn't necessarily fit in a modern children's movie and stuff like that. And it's sad, but I can kind of get it. But at the same time, it's like, if that's not going to work, have Fall Out Boy do a cover of Live and Learn. Have Weezer do a cover of City Escape. You know, do what it takes to get these tracks in the movie.
Please, a Weezer City Escape would be probably the most blessed and cursed thing I would ever hear in my entire life. It would be amazing.
It's a means to
counterpoint
an
end. To counterpoint that, though, like, and again, I'm not saying I'm the end all be all for, you know, children in terms of like what they, you know, enjoy and don't enjoy. But I played Sonic Adventure whenever I was 6. And I didn't even bat an eye at the music. You know, I wasn't like wincing at it. I wasn't
when did you say you played it?
Back 6. I was 6 years old.
You were okay, so that would have been a long time. I mean, to be honest, the music in Sonic Adventure wasn't even current at the time it came out. Like, it was still considered to be kind of dad rock even at the time.
But that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. I didn't care. And I don't think children would really care that much either.
Yeah,
so,
you got to think, though, these movies are made by people that overthink everything. Like, to the point where it's like, is Tails marketable? Should we put him in that first movie?
Is Tails marketable? Meanwhile, it's just a fox with an extra tail, and, like, he's adorable. Like, of course he is. You know? Like, who cares?
That is the thing, is, like, all you got to do is look at toy sales and stuff, and it's like, there's your answer. The Sonic characters would sell. But it's also like, Over the Hedge exists. Like, talking animal movies have existed for decades. Like, it's not suddenly going to turn around just because they have really slick designs that everyone loves. Like, man.
Well, that's the thing that I don't really understand, is that, like, you buy this is the problem I've had with since the first movie. Like, you buy, like, the license to an IP, or you buy, like, a subsect of it, and you don't really put anything into the product that you're making that makes the IP special. And it's like, why?
Yeah,
you know, if you're trying to appeal to children, like Sonic does that. Sonic appeals to Americans. That was the whole point. You know, like, kids aren't gonna care if there's a rock song in it. You know, I don't know.
Like Mr. Krabs, no one's ever been taken out of a movie by that kind of thing. You know, but like,
no.
As Mr. Krabs also like says, a I was at Sonic Symphony when I saw a few kids were jamming out to Live and Learn when it started to play. It's like, yeah, the Sonic Symphony is like the ultimate piece of it. I wish I could just sit down with whether it's Junkie XL or whoever it is calling the shots on these movies' music and just shove an iPad in front of them and be like, look at this. This is what it's all about. Sonic music is so important that they can sell tickets to venue events where they just play Sonic music. That is how special this stuff is. And if you don't believe it can be cinematic, listen to the symphony half at the start of the show. It translates beautifully to orchestral. Yep. But look at the crowds here. Like, I also bring out when people say, oh, Jun Senoue shouldn't work on Sonic anymore because the Superstars soundtrack was gack. It's like, okay, no, buddy. Listen to the tracks that he's composed and listen to the response to them at Sonic Symphony. This man's mark on Sonic is well and truly left, and let the guy cook. Just make sure it's not on a classic game.
Oh, well, just make sure it's not on a Corg Triton, because that's what he uses, I'm pretty
sure. It wasn't a Corg Triton, it was a Vacuum VST and Pro Tools. Corg Triton is what T-Lopes uses. Yeah.
I could have swore he also used a Corg Triton for at least Sonic 4.
I don't know about Sonic 4 Episode 1. He used a different thing for that.
Yeah.
But it was Vacuum VST used for Sonic 4 Episode 2 and Sonic Superstars. I think T-Lopes uses the Corg Triton, though, but I'm not sure. But the Corg Triton is very much a New Jack thing. Then again, you'd know more about it than I would. You're a fucking musician.
Well, yeah, and I'm very familiar with the Corg Triton. I could have swore, because I remember looking at like a equipments list for Jun Senoue, because I still want to make this video, but I want to make a video about like the sound of Sonic Adventure, like why it works the way it does, and what gear was used and whatnot. And the Corg Triton, I looked a little bit further, and the Corg Triton was used for Sonic 4 Episode 1 at the very least by Jun Senoue. And the reason being is that Jun Senoue likes to use the newest technology when it comes to creating music. Like that's how he gets his kicks, is basically like using the newest technology. So like, I don't know, but like I still, in my opinion, I don't know if the VST is the issue. I doubt it, though. I doubt it because
I think there's a number of things. On one hand, I think Jun's compositions are generally way too short when it comes to classic things.
They're very they're meant to be like loopable and like and
like
I can
15
understand
seconds, and that's not especially like when it comes to like the Superstars boss fights. It's like a 15-second loop for a boss that takes you like 5 minutes to beat is unacceptable. But I think the other thing is, my god, the Sonic 1 snare gets annoying, because it gets used way more in any of Jun's tracks than it ever got used in the classics.
Yeah, no, but like that FM snare,
That's simply because the guy had to sample it effectively. Like, because the Vacuum VST doesn't have those Sega Genesis drums on there. But it would probably be better if you just used whatever drums came with. I know there's that thing of like no real composer uses sound fonts, but it genuinely would have just been better if he used a sound font. Like,
well, I mean, the thing is that the YM2612 is just it's an instrument, you know? Like it shouldn't be hard to make a VST of an instrument. Like it'd be different if it was like a collection of samples from like the Super Nintendo era or something like that, you know? Because that's because all that music was sample based back in that system.
Everyone clowned on Press Factory Act 1. A lot of people say that's the worst track. I think of all the Jun tracks, that is the one that sounds most like it came from the YM.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand, because there's Deflamask, which is like a tracker that is a Sega Genesis-centric like tracker, which is very good, that a lot of people tend to use. And you also have like actual full like synthesizer recreations of the YM2612 that don't cost that much money. Like, really. In fact, I feel like you could get very close to like something like a DX21 or a DX100, Yamaha DX100, which is a 4-operator synthesizer, which is what the YM2612 is. It's a 4-op FM synthesizer, has 6 channels, and the 6th channel can be sampled, or the 6th channel can be replaced with a sample channel, which is where you get like your woes and stuff like that, like the Michael Jackson kind of like woes and stuff like that. That's how you can do that. And for Sonic 3 specifically, they sampled the snare to be a real snare instead of using the FM snare that was built into the YM2612, which is why that soundtrack sounds different. All this to say, it's not the tools. I really don't feel like it's the tools. That's the problem. I think it's
the other thing is when you listen to a lot of classic Sonic, because another thing is like the Sonic Forces classic Sonic music is commonly very criticized. I actually don't think it's that bad, but like it gets criticized a lot. And that did use the YM. That actually, I believe they even recorded it playing through a Genesis to get that slight little hum sound to it that the Genesis makes. They really paid a lot of attention. But the problem is that in the classic Sonic games, the music was composed as though it were being composed with real instruments. So, like, the idea was they would choose sounds using that sound chip that would replicate the sound of real instruments, whereas like Sonic Force's classic compositions and a lot of June's stuff is going out of its way to sound synthetic. It's made with a different philosophy, and I think that's showing. Like, because now rather music that's trying to sound like it's being played by an actual band, but it's just being played using the YM. You've instead got the YM being used to be like, wow, and it's like, it doesn't sound the same.
Like, it's so funny because you think of, like, Sonic soundtracks and the YM2612, and the YM is known for being very twangy, very metallic sounding.
It's quite dirty.
If you listen to, but if you listen to a lot of, at least, like, the main core Sonic team soundtracks, they don't sound that metallic. They sound relatively warm. They sound nice. Someone's at my door. Hold on.
Sure,
give me just a second.
Should I read Super Chats in the meantime?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, I'll just read some Super Chats. That turned into a whole different discussion. This is very awkward. I'm completely in the wrong server as well, so I can't even see him. Alright, Borker. We've got Webster, with £5. End of the month means payday. Decided to spread a little of the love, but only a little. Thank you so much, Webster. Always good to see you, pal. And I hope to see you again in person soon, man. We'll definitely continue that Sonic Adventure stream. And then next up we got Omega Mr. Salty, the yogurt male, with $2.99 dues. Has no message, doesn't need to be heard. Hell yeah. We've got Twilord with €2. Potential commission in Ko-Fi DMs, pup. Hell yeah, no, yeah, get me in on it then. I'll check that after the show's over. Thank you so much for the support. Hell yeah. Alright, what do we got next? Okay, how do I even say this? Pfeiffer 10 to Yagp sends 5 For a Sonic Adventure remake, I want Ian Flynn and Nishiyama to rework the story to fill its true potential, properly lead to Sonic Adventure 2 and TIE Frontier's ancient lore. That is very ambitious. And I actually do like the idea, but there's a huge part of me that's just clinging on to the old version, which is probably why I shouldn't have input on what that actually ends up being. So it's a toughie. It's a toughie. But yeah, God, I have a reduction in energy when I don't have anyone to play off of, don't I? All right, next up, Twilord with 2.
Hey, I'm back. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay, my friend. Alright, so, I tell you what, Borger. You've got this last Borger here.
Oh, give me just a second. Is it Twilord $2? Euro?
Yes.
I want to say?
Yeah, that's Euro.
Is it free booze for Dylan, as per Pup's request?
That's not what I meant.
I don't think that's the booze we were talking about. I think we were, like, booing him. Like, boo this man.
Hey, well, no, let's just get him wasted. Let's destroy his liver.
Let's boo him as he's
when he pulls out his Fruit Loops to eat in the morning, we'll just put a little vodka in there, and he won't even realize he's getting wasted.
Oh, my gosh.
Soak his tuna pepperoni sub in vodka.
But yeah, no, my little brother was knocking on my door. He's actually gotten an interest in playing drums, which is super awesome. So, like, I've been encouraging him, and he wanted to try to play some, but I told him I was in the middle of doing a podcast thing, and that it would be probably, like, roughly 30 minutes until I was done, but he had to do something else, but yeah.
God,
I always
Nick,
try to
stop
encourage
fucking
people.
messaging me trying to pay me for the last commission, bro. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Dude, tell Nick I said hi, like I said.
Hey, Ray says hi live from SC, by the way.
Yeah, live from Sunset City.
That show that you're not in anymore.
Yeah. There can only be one.
That same thing where I never changed any of the passwords, so you could just get into this show anyways. But okay, all right. Next up, we've got Borger Twilord with €2. What if Rouge steals Amy's role? What would that even look like? Oh god, is she just simping for Sonic? Oh man. Oh dude, it's already bad enough that Sonic has girls chasing after them, but now they're gonna be really hot. Oh no, he's not like me, man. He's not relatable.
I think they meant Rouge steals Amy's role in terms of like the talk that she has with Shadow at the end. I don't think that would work.
It could work, but it wouldn't work as well. I still... the thing is, it's Amy's defining moment to me. It's the point where she really comes into her own. Like, I don't think she's ever done anything quite that big since.
Yeah.
I mean, unless... You know how they could make it up to me if they did skip this? Do Gamma's story and have Amy in that.
Oh, you know what? Fair.
Do that next movie. Next movie, do Sonic Adventure 1 adaptation and have Amy.
I like. This is just me, but I do wish they did Chaos first.
I think they can. I do wish.
I know they can, but like.
I've also said they could even do it in the same film. They could even have Chaos be one of the many Doomsday things that Gerald Robotnik has planned, and that rather than the Bio Lizard, you've got perfect chaos aboard the Ark, and it'd be like a perfect chaos fight in space, which would go hard. But the big loss there, all right, is Gamma. I would love for them to do Gamma.
Oh, I'd love to do like Gamma. Yeah, I love Gamma to death.
Yeah, Gamma is the best part of Sonic Adventure 1's story. But what I was kind of getting at was, if they don't give Amy that role in Sonic 3 of redeeming Shadow, at least give me her and Omega. Because, like, that is where... Or give her a really great new story where she gets to do something really cool. But I don't like this philosophy of assuming that there's going to be a fourth and a fifth movie and stuff. I would rather they make the most of the movie.
Like...
Because the other hand, there's also, like, a boycott going on, so... And not to mention... A lot of, like, previously guaranteed success movies from, like, Marvel and DC have been flopping lately. So it's like, I don't like to assume that there's going to be a Sonic 4 for them to introduce Amy into.
Yeah. And also, like...
Sorry, go on, yeah?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like... the Sonic series, like, is relatively, like... I don't want to say niche, but there's a little bit less to work with in terms of, like, material as opposed to, like, Marvel as an entire brand, if that makes sense.
You're
like,
going to run out of characters pretty quickly if you're trying to do this trickle-down thing, so just integrate them all into each other's stories and think about the stories you can tell. But,
right.
Yeah, I don't want to assume there's ever going to be a Sonic 4, and I'd hate to think, like, Sonic 3 underperforms compared to projections. They can the whole thing, and we never got to see what these characters would be like in this universe.
Like I'm telling you, they get like the main things that they have to do for Sonic 3 to be successful is to like keep it digestible for people who just watch the movies, but also don't be afraid to like embrace what makes Sonic. You know,
I'd just say go hard, man. Just go hard with it. Because
I'd say go hard, ease into it.
Everybody knows
go
Sonic.
Hard.
No one looks at Sonic and goes, "That's bad." Everybody likes Sonic, but
I mean, some people say that's bad, but like we don't listen.
Well, fuck them. But for me, there's two things I kind of need from Sonic 3, and it doesn't mean it's gonna be a bad movie that doesn't have these, but I will be a little disappointed. I need to see, I need to hear some kind of Crush 40 stuff in the music, and I would really like to see Amy in there because I just think she's a very important character that often gets overlooked, and I think it's silly that she does. But yeah, there you bloody well have it. You know how it is. Next up, Borger. We've got. I mean, are you reading this one? Is this one for you? This one's for you, isn't it?
I think that's a Wait. Yes. Because I said the free booze thing. Yes, and you said the
read it then, you idiot.
All right, it's C-Man with $7.99 Australian dollars. Between I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say Knuckles. Between the Knuckles AI revelations and that comic by that Tenders, I guess Penders.
Chicken tenders.
Yeah. Pen tenders. I'm glad we get great content from you guys. Hashtag poo cut when you're ready, of course.
The poo cut is sitting on an external drive. I don't know when it's ever going to get released.
And
it's
by
not
drive,
finished.
I do mean toilet. Yeah. No,
It's not been released, but I promise you will get the Puka. The Puka is kind of like an epilogue to Sunset City Gen 1 as well, because you've got the whole Gen 1 cast in that. So if you miss Nick and Wayne and Cirrus, you'll be getting them. Gilly. Actually, I don't think Wayne is in the Puka.
Oh, I do miss them.
Yeah, I miss them too. Yeah, definitely. I hope we can maybe get them all back on one day. But as it is, we've got the April Fool's special where they gave me a funeral, so that was kind of fun.
Heck yeah.
Okay, well, next up. Oh, but I suppose I can... We'll talk about the fucking Ken Penders thing another day.
Oh yeah, no, I completely completely.
There's a
forgot
lot to
about
get
that.
down with. I would love to get Ian back on to discuss that, because I think he's actually read it. But yeah.
Really? Okay.
So Twilord returns with €5. I want my niece to have the badass thieving spy for a role model, not the bystander. Amy's not a bystander though. But get both. Give me both. Give me both. Okay, my demand has changed. Not just Amy. Give me both. Give me both of them.
I think from an action
make
figure
them
standpoint,
kiss as well. Make them kiss.
That'd
That'd be awesome.
Some good lesbian represetation in the Sonic
Well, I know that
franchise
the
is what we
movie
need,
cast are
actually.
kind of kids, so like age them up as well. Age them all up. They're all aged up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Rouge is 18, right?
Well, I'm talking about the movie cast where they are quite explicitly age coded.
Oh, fair. Yeah,
they're
because like
they're all kid coded in the movie.
Sonic is definitely like an early teen.
I've never
in
taken
those
the
movies.
whole game ages thing seriously because Rouge would not logically be 18. It would be incredibly creepy if I was simping for an 18-year-old.
That's true. This is true.
Yeah. Borger.
All right, Borger. Okay, so Twilord again with €5 more. Thank you again. Sorry, still pissed by the lack of Spider-Gwen toys for my niece. Lots of Peter and Miles, too many Minnie Mouse clones. She deserves an action heroine.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they can still
Yeah.
make Amy an action heroine, but like, yeah, Rouge and Amy, get them in, age them up, make them kiss. That's my request.
God.
It would be so good. You'd have a gay moment in the movie. Like everyone wants that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my good pal Terry is next. So Borger Tray. Oh wait, no. Did you read the last one?
I didn't. So it's yours. It's yours.
Also, wait. Do you not have Spider-Gwen toys? Because I've got like a Marvel Legends one on my desk. Well, anyways, Okay. So you did the last one, Mr. Terry Chaos.
Yes.
With £2. 2 of our very own pounds. Okay. Alright, so what does he say? What is your worst Sonic game OST choice?
Oh, that's easy. I got a couple.
Okay, I want to hear.
You go first. You go first.
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I mean, it's Sonic Chronicles, like by a landslide. Like it's not even close. That's the worst Sonic soundtrack.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Well, for a couple reasons. One, it doesn't sound great, but I know that's subjective. But like, it really doesn't sound great. Rhythmically, it's all over
really
the place.
Pushing the boundaries of subjective with that one.
I know, but let's say it's avant-garde. Let's say it was meant to be. But most of the songs are just covers of other songs that were done in a much better way in the past.
Nocturne
like
is
Big
my
Arms
favorite
and...
of the bunch. It's so stupidly bad.
God, the main title theme kills me every time. I don't know if that was based on anything else. I can't remember. But like, it's just so void of anything. It's like I'm listening to like nothingness.
Do you know the story behind it as well? Why it's like
I
that?
do know. I do know the story. My counterpoint should have just had a backup saved. Like every producer that I know, including myself, we have backups of backups.
I didn't think it was that they lost the music. I think it was that they didn't have the rights to it after a BioWare buyout.
Oh, they didn't have the rights to it, but like,
yeah. So the project was bought from another company or something. Like another company took over production, and they didn't have the rights to the music. So there were the solution was to the new tracks that were composed for like the battle themes was to crunch the fuck out of them beyond recognition, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think with things like Nocturne as well, they had to rearrange it so much to the point where it sounds like a new song. But it's like, oh my god, just make a new song in that case.
Well, it's like I guess for me, it's like I don't know because they said it was like a month out before like the game was supposed to be shipped, and that's why the soundtrack sounds the way that it does. But like,
I've heard better
I feel
soundtracks
like
made in a short space of time.
I was gonna say the Sonic CD American soundtrack. I'm pretty sure was made in a month. I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
And that soundtrack's fantastic. I know people prefer the Japanese Sonic CD soundtrack, but the Sonic American CD soundtrack sounds phenomenal. Like it's great. And some songs I even prefer over the Japanese counterpart, in my opinion. But regardless of that, that's on Richard Jacques for just having covers as the basis of the soundtrack. If that's the case, he should have just made originals from the get-go.
How do you full screen Discord? I accidentally did it.
I guess you could just go to Task Manager.
No, it's not. No, I can get to another thing, but when I go back to Discord, it's full screen again. How do I do? No. Ooh.
I think we do have one more though.
We do, yes. You want to get this one?
Sure. Borger. We don't have it in the chat. I just want to say it. But Twilord with $5 euro. Once again, thank you again. Sonic and Shadow can kiss too, right? To perform Super Chaos Control. Is that wait? Is that how we do fusions in the Sonic franchise? Is to have the characters kiss instead of doing the fusion dance? Is that what you're suggesting?
I think that's what they're suggesting, but I just realized that because Nick is still talking to me about fucking payment and now saying that Gilly, Wayne, Cirrus, and himself all say "fuck you, Faker," and I think that's to you, Trey.
Me? Why me? What did I do?
But because that's going on, I accidentally sent that super chat message to Nick. And he's just like, so he just gets a message out of nowhere saying Sonic and Shadow can kiss too, right, to perform Super Chaos Control. And he just said the only way it works is when they touch tips. And I just said that was a super chat I meant to post in the mailbag. Stop texting me during Sunset City, motherfucker.
Text me instead.
Don't text anyone. Oh, is it F11? Okay, let me try this. Okay. F11. Right, whoever did that, whoever suggested that, I hope you know you are not funny. I now need to get back.
Doesn't know that.
So it turned out that. So it turned out that F11 was putting the computer to sleep. So, fuck you. I want to go now. I've had enough. I've had enough.
I think we both disappeared in the episode. I think we're still both disappeared.
I've had enough. I want to go.
Wait, do they hear us? Guys.
Yeah, they can hear us. We are in. Okay. Alright.
Okay.
Okay, so, well, that's the end of the episode. Super chat cut off.
What the frick? What the frick?
Oh, now I've got echo coming from your end, Trey. Oh, it doesn't matter. It seems to have fixed itself. Trey!
Yes.
Nope, still got echo. Fuck.
Oh, give me a second.
Fix it, Trey. I can
fix this.
I hate it.
I can fix it. I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Trey, I hate it.
Gift inventory. Someone.
You have to fix the. Oh no! He's here.
Who's here?
You know who? The skeleton.
No, not the skeleton. No!
Well, Trey, anything you want to promote?
At the moment, not really. I mean, you can still follow me on all the socials. I think I'm funny. I'm kind of working on a good bit of projects, just like, kind of in the background, and just doing my own thing as of right now. I do have two albums, two original album projects that are hopefully going to be released later on this year, but they're still a little ways out before I'm ready to start marketing them. But if you want to keep up with that, then just follow me on good old Twitter/x.com.
Wow,
Trey
what a big
_.
deal.
Trey _Nobles.
What
Yeah.
a big deal you are. Such a big deal.
I think. I try my best.
You're such a big deal, Trey. Is it true you made the
You're-
Scooby-Doo?
No.
Damn.
Well, I mean, yes, I did make. I made the LGBTQ version.
Yes.
You know,
Alright, and
that's my legacy.
on my own end, I guess, I don't really have anything new for you Sonic people. I did do a video on the David Corenswet Superman suit, so you can check that out and hear my thoughts on that. But the previous Sonic one was uploaded last week. It was what is, in my opinion, Sonic's biggest problem and how to fix it. And it's all about branding and more. So check that out.
There we go.
That's the end
Heck
of the
yeah!
show.
I think this was a good episode. I enjoyed my time. Thank you for having me on once again. This was fun, and even though Dylan's having sex right now, I miss him. He's having sex right now. Frank not having sex. I don't think. I don't know.
Frank
though.
doesn't.
He might.
Frank doesn't fuck.
He doesn't. Frank fucks. No.
He doesn't know what it is, and he doesn't fuck.
Isn't Frank also in the new Dead Rising remake?
I don't get it.
Frank West. Frank West.
I don't get it.
Frank West is the protagonist.
I just don't get it.
You
Let's just go. Let's just be done with this.
I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't go. Maybe we should. Maybe.